any we are for na lawyer Kuya say foul hand bra no betting it. Sankofa radio TB na wani beje
Ghana man ye fwe wanzi nukwa momani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fwe wanka nukwa momani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fu akoshina ndabraba na dosa Ghana man ye fu nya chimna katasi shana dosa Ghana man ye fu wanzi nukwa madishimani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fu Ghana man ye fwe wanzi nukwa momani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fwe wanka nukwa momani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fu akoshina ndabraba na dosa Ghana man ye fu nya chimna katasi shana dosa Ghana man ye fu wanzi nukwa madishimani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fu Ghana man ye fwe wanzi nukwa momani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fwe wanka nukwa momani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fu akoshina ndabraba na dosa Ghana man ye fu nya chimna katasi shana dosa Ghana man ye fu wanzi nukwa madishimani ntumpuna Ghana man ye fu
Susubribi baby, Abwa Ghana, Nakana Bayo, Ayo, if we mean waro. Susubribi baby, Abwa Ghana, Nakana Bayo, Ayo, if we mean waro. Me mangana. Adeshe mama mama woman swear. Mama ye fedi akuye ni odo efasu ye many. Now many ye yakasara yapadea. Yanana no di abebre se de to maye. Inchi asemena se yesungane ye. Anya sabe dachi chiriba beba bebuye mfo. Minia Susubribi baby. Abwa Ghana, Nakana Bayo, Ayo, if we mean waro. Susubribi baby, Abwa Ghana, Nakana Bayo, Ayo, if we mean waro. Batana, Yamieshra no da. Wamanu near my penny nala, now I'm a nodo. Eyasa se batana, enter oku. Egia hobu any, Nebicavias Yasubia. Intia Seminole said, Yasungane. Anya Sapa, Dachin Chiriba, about the way for Minia, Susubribi baby, Abwa Ghana, Nakana Bayo, Ayo, if we mean waro. Susubribi baby, Abwa Ghana, Nakana Bayo, Ayo, if we mean waro. Susubribi baby, Abwa Ghana, Nakana Bayo, Ayo, if we mean waro. Susubribi baby, Abwa Ghana, Nakana Bayo, Ayo, if we mean waro. Me mangana, Adeshe mama woman swear. Mama ye fedi akuye ni odo efasu ye many. Now many ye yakasara yapadea. Yanana no di abebre se de to maye. Inchi asemena se yesungane ye.
Just trying to.
Susubribi Ma Wo Man. Nagana beyo, eyo efemi nwara o. Susubribi Ma Wo Man. Nagana beyo, eyo efemi nwara o.
Ebushia from Mobibia Kwa Baba Sankofa Radio Kasafidie so Sima Eyedun Kron apa nondu ho Bibia wuti efibia ntia kese na edema ye beda eye Anti Rose any Peace and Love Church Emma omuni ye astati eye ename de ye dwumedi a yedi no Ebra so se eba bedi Ghana ho nkomo said the mimi de bia ye no from 10 o'clock to 12 noon ye ba bedwen kwan a ye di en man ni besi so a edi mpuntuo fa wudie ene nkoso bebre sa ena mimi de bia ebo eye no ndukokope na maji makonya said the eye no de bia so ye ma wakonya e ma wiase afa na nyina Ghana ma etu akwatina obi man so na emom Ghana ne de eda so ye mu de na ye ba na wo so wa be kire wa adwen ni yedi nkomo na ene ye wo panyin kase bi e wo ye ntem enche ye be ko ne ye na kodi nkomo ono de oye Kumasi ni ma papa na je se ye wo no e wo ye Komfo Anochi Teaching Hospital onte se enum bia ye fita krade ne ye kopie Kumasi enso yaji Kumasi aboyebo ono de oye Kumasi ni dihye pa na emom Ghana so eda na koma so ena wasom Ghana ewo eye ekwan bebre so I'm talking about a honorable KWABENA AGYEPONG enche ene no ebe twetwe nkomo na adepoti ene na be pie eye America krodio mu wa enioma oye ene ya gina dwinkyere ewo enioma ekoso ewo ye mangana ti be fidie ni na ya because a tap send ene eso masene na me di dwumedie we ebrel mimi de anopa bia numbers a ubetumi edi u message aba sabre we WhatsApp 571 343 8320 571 343 8320 eno WhatsApp number utumi edi u message no efa ho na wabekan ye ho opese question bi wo ho a na waye ye studio number no so every ba na ye bie phone lines na studio numbers na debia ye use na no na sabri we be use the studio number no ekwan bam na ye bia 703 565 2261 703 565 2261 eno ni ye studio number debia betumi abekan wo frefi outside America and one so be modern say wudi 001 ebe share ni mu ana +1 wudi share ni mu obetumi abekan ho ama yedi nkomo na se na enwom na ekọ no osi Susubribi Ma Wo Man Ghana nti me ba isi a me ba ya na ye to adwumedie ne so ewo Sankofa Radio
Sankofa Radio tie bi na wadi benje
You ebushia for memo akwaba aba Sankofa Radio bio Susubribi Ma Wo Man Ghana bre enedui se na memeda anopa bia isinkonwa ha ne edi nkomo ewo memeda anopa ewo US benim say listeners all across the globe memenda bia moba ebekan ho ma yedi Ghana ho nkomo na ene I'm fortunate to have a honorable KWABENA AGYEPONG Honorable KWABENA AGYEPONG, former press secretary to the president between 2001 and 2006, and also former general secretary of NPP. Eno ye kakrebi, but yebeko na yamana kwaba na ye bisano ekwanso. Na ibisa ne kwan so enkomo bebre ene wo ho a ode beboye ti honorable memo akwaba eba sankofa radio yes say wenyamre amaye na mani agiye pa say we make it time out of your busy schedule say woni e betwetwe nkomo na honorable we dey maybe say kwan so no maybe say e dey na nu we be pm America sabrewe
I'm meeting like I say me fine so at the Achia with TFO around the world and those in Ghana and in America. About America a couple of weeks ago to attend American Society for Civil Engineers annual convention. I'm a member of the American Society. Until a career convention near Los Angeles, Anaheim, Disney World side. I miss me back, maybe I could be a semi could do Kunuswa. It's been something I've been doing from time immemorial. I first speak to the branch chairman because MPP, my fan is a Bushia, a crew. My friend, branch chairman, I know Denver, Colorado, and I'm born a man. I'm do American, I'm be DB. And I can't be more. My person, baby, I could be a nominate chapter for no bidding Kitamokaka. No, my cost. Fortunately, Los Angeles chapter, no me no mushai during that time, and I'm near me call UK for massive me work for say wedding. Me call by and I'm still with it. Me back Atlanta, so no you me adom me ne Atlanta chapter 4 no di kita home. And then me call Charlotte, na me North Carolina for no I could din kita home. No actually no. Let's go to Boston. Boston, I'm America, Metao. All I'm a for. Okay. Worcester, Massachusetts, for so we know Malaysia, and they make a radio station to tell the air.
Oh, okay.
And I'm no more so Kokasa about my Ghana now. Head a camera seven. Until me baha, the semi doors, so one mammy Sakoyan say, entry on mine home come and only him. Timidawasi the Yamedin Isra or T4 or more Ghana or more Amanane, all parts of the world. Those who are listening to this discussion this morning, I'm very happy to be here with you and all in part of our service to our country.
Yeah, Bompa is next time. So on your tour, no, Ubeba Besra, Virginia, you need Virginia.
Virginia, me see why check. Like I say. 1996. Say that time I'm a young man to say I was a sports correspondent. I used to host sports highlights. It was a passion. I would say it's a part-time because I've always been a civil engineer, and so I covered the Olympic Games in Korea 1988, the Olympic Games in Barcelona in 1992, and then Atlanta in 1996. Now me buy and also. Not Black Meteors under 23 near boy matches in Washington and me better Alexandria madam for being Virginia in Virginia kaka.
And that's a busha yene honorable KWABENA AGYEPONG etwetwe komo honorable na we dey start a few sports here I can just a few days to the you say you are an avid sports person. I think say you review by you are well rounded. Civil engineer there and doing things in the media there and I think that is something people say you cannot be boxed in one area. You are well rounded, and I think say Eboa with how you would do but yeah sports is just a countdown to World Cup. Ghana ya homeboa any who see who your preparation and I say World Cup in terms of World Cup what shall I say the
World Cup now has been the fact that it was awarded to Qatar, and Qatar is not a traditional football nation, and a lot of people did not really agree to it because the timing, because football they normally are born during summertime and when all the major leagues are on break. As he says, because of one around summertime and the whole shit,
Yeah.
it was felt set for the health of the players. You could not play in those temperatures. 40 degrees, that would have been very damaging to the players' health. For the safety of the players, and I think we all agree. Now, on my shift, November to December. So I cool. Now, and also, it's caused a little bit of a logistical nightmare for the teams. Because you see, I say, even the big leagues in Europe are still playing. And then each Sunday, the last day.
Yes.
It's never happened before that before a World Cup, leagues will be ongoing a week before the World Cup. Normally, the leagues complete and then the teams have about 1 month preparation for the World Cup so that they can bet together. The coaches can implement their strategies. It's going to be a very challenging time for the coaches to try and build cohesion in their teams. And Ghana, it's going to be tough. But with Ghana, the problem has been that your team, so at least the team that qualified, and I watched them against Nigeria in the playoff. I was impressed with the kind of play. And I'm happy, and I hope that the coach will keep to the same, football philosophy and the plan or they set up the team. Because in Kumasi, what I saw, their approach play, their build-up play, their link-up play had improved. And although we are a very tough group in football, Nipa level, so it depends on what turns out on the day. And I think we have a strong pool of players. I'm a bit disappointed on some players who didn't make the list. I'm surprised.
Because about the collapse, things take it. I mean, perceived because Monday in official list, but from reliable.
I was surprised in the first place. Just 2-3 weeks to a competition, you name a big squad of 55.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you are creating the potential for fallout because it's never happened before. Normally, you name 30 players, and then because of injuries, and then you prune it down. First, Nanka 23, but they say Mama 26 because I think they're going to allow more substitutions this year or something like that.
Yes.
The laws have changed a bit recently. And I was shocked to hear 55. I mean, you can't have 55 players in the national team. It's never happened before. Why the FA would do that, and then why the coach would accept to do that? Because World Cup Day is the pinnacle of every footballer's career.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody dreams to go to the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been following reports of the announcements of other teams, and even they made it a media affair.
Exactly.
Cameras to see their reactions. It was very exciting, both in England and elsewhere. What to make us? Okay, now I thought you had gone off. So, but anyway, I mean, now we've cut it down to I believe 26. I think it's 26.
Yeah,
but 26. That is the list. The final list I hear hasn't come out.
Monday, which is very
strange. I've been a bit busy with my politicking, so I haven't really
exactly
followed it.
Out Monday, but people are talking about.
But I know certain players have been omitted already, and I was surprised. Someone like Crystal Palace midfielder
Jeffrey
Schlupp, who I know very well because I've lived in Leicester for quite some time.
Okay.
And he used to play there when they were champions of England. And he's been very consistent this year with Crystal Palace, which is a top team in the Premiership. And and he's also versatile. He's a friend, a utility player.
Exactly.
Ultimate ball left back, ultimate ball center midfield, ultimate ball left wing, ultimate ball even the hole behind the strikers. So I was surprised that such a material was dropped in favor of players playing in the second tier and sometimes third tier of the English Premiership. But anyway, that's the decision of the coach. We have to allow the coach to make up his team. The success or our lack of it will determine whether he continues to be our coach or not. Sometimes, although we all express our opinion and we can express surprise of some of these things, I haven't really looked at the squad right now, but I hope that Southampton Salisu is part of the squad.
Yes. I know
because since he joined the defense, you could see he's brought some relative stability to it. Jiku is also very strong. Dennis O'Doy. But the left back position, that would have said Schlupp could have filled it.
exactly.
I would never prefer Baba Rahman to Schlupp. Baba Rahman plays in the lower divisions. And Schlupp is more experienced, more versatile. But that's the decision of the coach. There is another guy who played during Ghana in Nigeria, no? Or a Rasta, left back. I think Gideon something.
Oh, Gideon Mensah.
Is he in the squad?
Yes, from sources, yes, he's making the squad.
I hope, because he was very good in the 2 games against Nigeria.
Yeah, he is.
He was very good. But in any case, Ghana, naturally we are talented, and I think we'll rise to the occasion. This is going to be a tough group because Uruguay have a strong set of new players. You know, there are 2 midfielders, Bentancur, who plays for Spurs, and then the Real Madrid boy,
Valverde.
Federico Valverde. These are tough players, top players. And then Afrons, of course, I hope they are taking the old dog Suarez.
Yeah, he's in. And
it will be interesting how he reacts to Ghana. How Ghanaians react to him with South Africa 2010 in mind, you know. And it will be strangely, all the teams we are playing, and we lost to Portugal, I think, in South Africa? 2-1 Ghana. I think it was in 2014. My memory is a bit on this football because, like I said, and this is going to be
the honorable I mean, you are staying on.
But I think that Ghana Portugal will be an interesting game. I was hoping that I'll be able to travel and go and watch that game and see my favorite player Ronaldo in skin, you know. But of course, he's playing against Ghana, so. You know, I want my country to win, and I also want Ronaldo to do well. So that is a bit of a situation, you know. And I quite remember in 1990 when I was the host of the Italian 90 in Ghana. Not because I used to love Maradona so much. I was so emotionally attached to Diego Maradona. In my view, the greatest ever footballer that ever lived. Now, a Cameroon opening game. And that was the first time Ghana were having GTV show the World Cup live. And I was very instrumental in that because I was the one who was hosting Sports Highlights. It was through my innovation that we put together the sponsorship to have a panel discussion. That was the first time it was being done in Ghana. And that opening day, I was supporting Argentina against Cameroon. And a lot of Ghanaians felt that as an African, I should have been supporting Cameroon. But maybe a football day against Nede. Maybe I open on SOCO. And then sometimes those sentiments can disappear. And I quite remember Ghanaian Times editorial the next day when Cameroon beat Argentina with that Oman Bey goal. They had an editorial for me alone. You know, Christian Agbe, who was the then editor of Ghanaian Times, you know, wrote a scathing editorial about me. You know, but of course, I know there was a lot of political undertones in that. And I mean, I just hope that we'll have a good World Cup, a good outing, go and play well. Korea is also strong.
Exactly.
It's a very evenly matched group, and the Portuguese team has a lot of world-class potentials. They've not been doing well as a team. They have a collection of good individuals. Whether the coach will be able to blend them and produce a strong team is something that we are going to see. It is going to be an exciting World Cup, and
it will.
I hope I'll arrive in Ghana to be able to watch all those. Because in Ghana, January like no.
If we say any honorable KWABENA Japan, KAA for short.
You can just refer to me as KAA.
KAA, yes, that's the man. Any Kasana honorable. Where there now me say. You share how the transition from, because I was reading your bio and I heard transition from being a civil engineer and crossing into politics. Kakrebi, how did that happen? And the people around you, they almost taking it.
Well, I don't want to take you too far back into history, but it's important I make just 1 or 2 comments. We all know in Ghana 40 years ago what happened. The 3 High Court judges were kidnapped and murdered, one of whom was my father. And it had a very strong influence on me. And I I always, even at that time, I was a 20-year-old at the University of Science and Technology. The way I struggled through school without my father, baby, it was very tough. But I was determined. Now, that's why the fact that at that time I could have gone for political asylum in the UK. Some of my siblings decided to do that. They are still there in the UK. I decided to say I will stay in Ghana, be a sultan on the conscience of the Ghanaian people, so that we'd never forget those atrocities that were committed under the guise of a so-called revolution. And so I was prepared to say, I will make my contribution. There may be a so that we would get the military adventurers out of our governance system. So I was politically motivated, even though I was a young student doing my civil engineering. So it wasn't surprising that immediately after school, whilst working at Ghana Highway Authority as a young civil engineer, I would say I remarkably combined both my professional career as an engineer and the political activism. So I was one of the youngest people during the times leading up to the formation of the New Patriotic Party, when we were having the Buzia Dankwa clubs, holding press conferences, and we were there with our elders. I mean, the likes of Professor Dubois, Kwame Pienim, Kwesi Lamte, many BJ Darocha, Jenin Boateng, all those. I mean, Omodos, because I'm born Stephen Kreku, J. Addison, A.K. Dekunum. That was a wonderful period in our lives. Although we were struggling out of, say, we were in opposition. We had been banished from 1972 as a political party. We came together as a patriotic party. And it will surprise you, that was the time that we were the party that first bought our national headquarters, because of the dedication that the forefathers showed to the cause of democracy in our country. Say ye jumaden ne ya chichire ye party ne si o na san di kebimem kebi ebe tintim wo mind. So it's important, especially for some of us who lived through those difficult times, right from the 70s when I was a young teenager in school and in Fansipim, right through the time I finished university. Those were dark days in Ghana. The first 30 years of Ghana's politics, very chaotic, coups, counter coups, firing squad. It's important certain biano you bought Ghana for especially mom ranting and kaye. So where we are now today, after 30 years of consistent democratic rule, we protect our democracy that we have. Despite all the shortcomings or the difficulties that you go through, which we know. Now, sometimes perhaps because they did not live during that period. Nobody should ever think about, say, the return of school in Ghana. It should never happen again, because the system we have now is 10 times better than having a military adventurer come and be a dictatorship on us. During that time, be a friend, Young Executive Forum. Mranti Anafi, we school chair, a lot of young people, Kojoban Redu, Akwesi Oseje, former foreign minister, Ose KWABENA, Shegilege Ties, Joe Nyame, Alan Shamatin, myself, Macmenu, Cecilia Dapa, Dr. Heyman, and many others, Courage Kwashiganum, had then joined the NPP, because he was a part of the PNDC, but he had left that administration and became a part of us. And all of us put our energies behind the New Patriotic Party, both financially, human resource, and everything. For me as a person, I gave my youth, I gave my youth to this party, dedicated my life to supporting Professor Eduboahen in 1992, because by 1990, I had become, as I said, a national celebrity, hosting sports highlights on national television. See, when the time came, say, Pobi at national television, so I had the face and voice of the campaign of the Dubois. At that time, I'm penny for pure. Now, so now, if you are saying you anticipate, Safwa Dumajuma near Seno, we are free, be a mensa, Siao, independent for the great Janico people died in poverty and penury, and running away from the country because of the persecution of the Rawlins Revolution of December 31st. And at the time, it was difficult to have someone to have the courage to even say, I would sacrifice and volunteer to sit on national television. Sometimes, and this is another radio, those days in Ghana, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. And it was only the television department, to even to have access to the media, which was tightly controlled by the soldiers and the military administration of the PNDC. So, as a young man working at Ghana Highway Authority, to have that courage, say me who were born for my party, television so now party political presentation broadcast. Now I did paying for who because they were even scared to hook up with you because they felt that they will also be persecuted by the military administration. Because at that time, they had democracy. Because of the determination and what our family had been through, and I said, this is my little contribution. I made me a dear boy, I'm a moaba. And see, made them who bought for it. And year 92, so said the enemy. That time, the election, I always refer to it as a non-election because one, voters register and me muda. So, in the same colana, 20 Professor Dubois in na say no money vote. Asujafona were in control of the polling stations, and that's why we really never accepted the results of that election. And I threw a stolen verdict. If you have heard of that, we wrote a stolen verdict, and then we even decided that we would not participate in the parliamentary.
Sounds so great.
That in 1992 presidential election and parliamentary election, they deliberately wanting Rawlins to win, decided to do the presidential election first.
Uncovered radio.
November. And so the only thing we could let the world know was our protest to the world to let them understand the fact that we are totally unhappy and displeased with how the elections were conducted. And so we refused to participate in the parliamentary elections in December 1992. And the then National Executive Committee that took that decision, I participated as a representative. At that time, the Young Executive Forum, there were 2 slots. There were National Executive Committee and myself, AGYEPONG and Alan Shamatin, we were the 2 nominees at AGYEI, who were part of the National Executive, although with a non-voting rights, but as part of it till 2000 when Yankopon Yaba power. In politics, it took me away from my profession very early. But I was still working. I mean, after the election, who say, hey, I been the way I'm going to prepare, so I winning the one here. But I decided that I worked towards leaving it. And so I think by 1993, 94, I left Ghana Highways as public service with a colleague of mine. And we set up a private consultancy firm called Constru Consult. And we engaged in a lot of major projects. I mean, if you've been to Obuasi before, we were project managers for one of the largest projects in the country at the time, 150-unit modern housing estate. They say almost friend of Precious Fields Estate, Tiny Roland Estate, and Obuasi. And we were the project managers and project engineers. And we delivered the project. That project was about a $15 million project.
Oh, wow.
Delivered on time and within budget. And Nipa Bob Branton, Bibi Kakraba in so much as a Mesomed. And those days are Branton now, but whom I made them a 535I.
Hey, honorable, no easy. That's wonderful.
And so, fortunately, I was able to build my own house before we got into mainline politics. And those are the things I want to encourage the young people to have a career, build a career, and be strong, as a person before you go into politics. Because they say, no, yes, which is something that we should put a stop to. I mean, we should change the narrative. In my view, the foundation of my political career, what I refer to my political doctrine, are 3 things. What I call the triple S: service, sacrifice, and selflessness. Say, ubesum omai, ubetu huache, tu humbe boa for ye. Na face unye pesimi kumya. say bibi kura okra na say obi ni bia ubetimi ede amano because who homobro you should have empathy tema who say when you be ho kire na ubenya tema amano. Those are the foundation principles of my political career. And I think that the conduct of Mpenimfone Ishia on Miami Papa, those are the values he taught me. Those are the values he imbibed in me. And that has been the driving force of my political career and my motivation. And I remember when I said in 1994, when the party wanted to have a representation to the IPAC, at that time, I said, to go back to play a role in the political arrangement. The party chairman then, BJ Darucha, had a major press conference. Despite the fact that we were not in parliament, we think as Democrats we want to get engaged in the democratic experiment that we were undertaking as a country. And say maybe be a friend of Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC, Electoral Commission for TST. Emma, all the parties sent representatives, and I was one of the representatives of the NPP there. And that was when we started the reforms in the electoral process. That was when say ballot boxes now they say transparent because 92 ballot boxes staff boxes no.
Yes.
So it wasn't declared openly. To say kind there be those days here two abani we are near the court for the court. You know. And by 96 was the first time be a friend of strong room. Then the parties were given access to the electoral commission, and there again, with Kufuor as the candidate of the NPP, I was his lead agent at the electoral commission strong room in those days. In 1996, that time now the likes of Kwesi Pratt, Vincent Assese, and was representing the NDC and Guzitando, you know. And politics, no. Although I was combining my engineering career with politics, doing some work for GASEM when there was a fire at the GASEM headquarters. My company was the one that did the structural integrity assessment of the building in Accra. And all that. So we did a lot of work for Bank of Ghana, for Ghana Law School, and many others. In fact, even we went to Lome to go because we had worked for GASEM in Ghana when their sister company in Lome, Simtobo, when they had an engineering problem, we went to Lome to go and assess the situation for them. And by 1998, I think we lost 96 again. And by 1998, I decided and I felt at the time that we needed someone who had a lot of fire in his belly. Because we were of the view, said, some of us, if you say Mampeni, at that time, candidate Kufuor was a bit soft. So the gentleman, spoken. He will be a support command Akufo-Addo. So I was one of the guys who led his campaign in 1998. If you go into history, you see us, and this was a very, very intense campaign that ended in our loss in Sunyani in 1998 to Kufuor. But the candidate Kufuor, knowing that although I didn't support him, but he recognized the contribution, my record of sacrifice and hard work from a Dubois in his time to his first assembly in 1996. He got his people to invite me to play a major role in his campaign. Until that time, Jacob Lamte had become his campaign manager because his original campaign manager, Alhaji Isaac Enusa, had defected to the NDC.
Okay.
He had defected to the NDC at the time.
Wow.
Jake called me, myself, and Victor Newman for us to come and support. They recognized the kind of campaign that we ran for Nanado in 1998. It was very modern. And so I was virtually the de facto director of communications in the 2000 campaign, placing adverts, doing the things that I did for Dubois in 1992. And so, again, I had to be the one to represent President Kufuor at the strong room of the Electoral Commission. So, historically, and I was the one who put in the call to candidate Kufuor and informed him that you have been elected as the President of the Republic of Ghana.
That's huge.
And after that, he appointed me as his press secretary. And of course, when you go into government, you have to leave engineering. So I had to leave my company. And that's how politics really took me away from my engineering career. So that's how it is. If I just a little background of.
I mean, just going through that, it looks like you've paid your dues in the party, right from school and everything. Honorable, Mercy, how do you assess? I'm only asking this question because now, just from the outside looking in, how do you assess Ghana? How do you assess the current atmosphere?
I think that
in Ghana, we assess anything.
Well, most importantly, so what to say, I've been talking about the need for a new dawn.
Yes. Because
after 30 years of politics and the fact that we are facing very difficult economic situations, as who said, Ghana, implemented a lot of things here. ERP1, that is Economic Recovery Program. ERP2, PAMSCAD, FinSAP, for by COHEPIC, IMF, Yakono 17 times in the last one. So that should tell us something. Say, it is not the economic model that is driving us down. That we really have to take a look at ourselves, a look at how we are governing ourselves, and have a drastic shift. We need a seismic movement here. Fundamental changes to how we govern ourselves and our attitude towards politics. Because in PNP, we lose the focus of what politics should be. Politics, it should be the welfare of the ordinary person. Over America, it will be near Jumakra. Your food stamps, there's a buffer. The system is so well structured that it supports almost any bill. So on them, John. I think it's time for us for a new dawn, a new direction, a new dimension in politics in our country. There's a Beko Abanis idea that we, the political leaders, have to be honest with the Ghanaian people and do the right thing. And so I think the time has come for us to take the difficult decisions, because as a country, if we don't live within our means, I've always insisted, say, you cannot spend what you haven't earned. Your budget is deficit. Sika way now bet me and no one else also edition way party. Say and so as the courage to be upfront and go to the Ghanaian people and tell them, say, this is what we have and this is how we are going to spend it this year. Now, cut it back. There is a lot of waste in Ghana. There's a lot of waste in the public sector. And then now, me say you MPP for be kwanya. As presidential candidate in America, I'm sure, say, if you've gone on YouTube, you've seen videos of me in 2004, videos of me in 2008, and even as recently when I was General Secretary, talking about the size of government. I always believe that we have to have a small government. That has been my philosophy from time immemorial. Even when I was in government, First Secretary to the President. So, right now, we have to take drastic measures because it appears the confidence that people have in politics, and not a shaky kakra. From the Afrobarometer surveys, Akosun saying the belief of the Ghanaian people in politics is waning. It means we, the politicians, have to up our game, do something to revive the interest, the enthusiasm. Now, we can only do so when they know that we are working in their interest. And so it is important that we showcase leadership to show that what this American popular president said, that you should ask what you can do for your country, not what your country can do for you. And so those are the things driving political activism right now, to lead that advocacy, to bring these things to the fore, so that these are difficult conversations, but we have to have them and change the mindset of not only politicians, the public servants, and the general population. We have to put our hands on our chest and be more nationalistic. American flags is in Grofufio. They are very nationalistic. They will die for their country. Are Ghanaians prepared to die for our country? Just say they are least, they are only thinking about themselves. But we cannot do that as a country. It's important that we think in the communal spirit that Ghana is saying, and we live in a communal setting. Everyone is the brother's keeper. That appears to have disappeared from our lives, and our moral values, our cherished values. So, these are things that I worry about, and I think as political leaders, we've got to lead in that discussion in our actions. Now, asset up company. No, I order project. You can't do that. And these are things that are happening that we have to put a stop to. Auditor General's report. We can account for this. This is misappropriated. And we don't look for such people and punish them. So my intention is to impose order and discipline in our country. But we don't implement them, we don't enforce them, and there's no strong penalty regime that will let people know. So that discipline should be restored in our country. No, rickety structure. America, nobody will allow you to do that. So the assemblies, the built environment, the human settlements have sprung up in a chaotic manner. So it's affected all our national life. And I think it is time for us as politicians to reduce just the politics and look at the nation and the rules and regulations that we use to govern ourselves. And I think I'm the kind of person with the drive, the vitality, the energy to push for this kind of change. And that's why I'm going around discussing my vision for this country. And I have some very strong measures that I think we should implement as a country. I do not believe a small country of less than 35 million should be using this large government, because it's important that we reduce it. The Constitution itself specs it at 19, that we shouldn't have more than 19 cabinet ministers. So, but government after government after government have been going way above that. President KAA will ensure that we respect that 19. And also, I think that every minister should have just one deputy. The president has one vice president. I cannot understand for the life of me certain ministers will bear 3 or 4 deputies. No. And some of the ministries should be collapsed into one. Fisheries and agriculture, their home should be agriculture. So Minister of Agriculture should have all that. You don't need a separate ministry for that. Youth and sports. More America, they wouldn't say, you can't sponsor. I was school, NCAA, college sports, near the college sports. So youth and sports, the natural home of youth and sports is education. So Ministry of Education. So now we have a Ministry of Sanitation, which used to be part of the Ministry of Works and Housing. I think there should be one single Ministry of Public Works that looks after all these things. We have a Ministry of Transport. I don't subscribe to the view that there should be a separate ministry for railways. Railways is part of transport. Aviation is part of transport. Ports and harbors is part of transport.
Radio.
Only roads, yeah, I will accept Sebia, because we are still building our road network, and any country, a developing country like Ghana, needs a strong road network to be able to drive and become the backbone for our development. There are many other institutions that we have to take a critical look at, because the cost of running government is too high. So we spend, if you look at our budget, we spend all our money on remuneration. So there's not enough for new development. And then we have a bad maintenance culture. In Ghana, hospitals. Simple cleaning of the place is a problem.
Yeah.
So our attitude towards cleanliness, our attitude towards maintenance, we have to drive that. And maintenance has the capacity to generate jobs. Because if we allow small businesses. And in America here, it's the small business that drives the economy.
Exactly.
Small businesses cleaning official buildings, cleaning the streets. How is it that in Ghana, only one company, Zoom Lion, is cleaning the whole of the country? It doesn't happen in any part of the world. Why we want to keep that model, I don't understand. We have 275 constituencies. I mean, if in every constituency there's a new cleaning company or even 2 or 3, it's got the capacity to generate jobs. And it will not be saying, so it's even an avenue for us to provide jobs. If you look at the district assemblies, at the beginning of the Fourth Republic, we had 110. And I think we should have stuck to it. District. Now, because of political expediency, and say right now, we have moved from 110 to 260 plus, almost co-terminals with the constituencies. Why is that the case? You go to a place like Kumasi, KMA is now restricted to Subini Hoka Krebi. And then Asokwa is an assembly, Uko Mamponte is an assembly, and it all increases the cost of running the government because UPSO provided offices, right? Instead of 110 offices, you are now having to build 265 or 260 offices. The cast now say, the district chief executives, instead of buying 110, you are buying 260, which is more than 100%. And I have a lot of strong views about how we are running our government. I also think there should be clear separation of powers and that members of parliament should not be a part of the executive. They should concentrate on parliamentary work, legislators like they do in America, so that the cabinet members are not part of the House of Representatives or the Senate. So we have a clear departure. We have tried to mix the American system and the British system. And I would admit, in my personal view, it hasn't worked because that supervisory role as a parliament, it is compromised because Nipa or a minister or some MP. Now on for Bibi Banesi scrutinize ya. Yes, Nipa anymore asem can be adding. Nipa unim asem can sometimes na adding. But those going to parliament should know that it is not a route to become a minister. And that's why there's so much chaos in parliamentary primaries, because Nipa feels that because the constitution says the majority of ministers should be taken from parliament. I think that portion of the constitution should be tweaked and changed, that nobody should come from parliament into the executive. So those are some of the views that I've already expressed publicly, because me feel says Mampeni and that's Bo Man. I do it down with you. That's all come any party. And so that we can have a debate and a discussion like you do have it in America. One more I said we no more prayer and answer matters or more interested in. None of them has had the courage so far to go to the media and say, Musa me questions. I've had media interactions and engagements across the country. I've now moved it into the diaspora. I've been to the UK. I'm back in America, because that is how leaders should behave. You should make yourself accountable. Questions should be asked of you from A to Z. For instance, how can a small country like Ghana have about 16, 17 or so Supreme Court judges? Of course, some will retire. But in my view, we have to copy the American concept. Supreme Court, a law there, and a law so any giddy. And a whole year, Nipana di 80 years, or Ahodian. So I'm of the view that the Supreme Court judges should not retire at 70. You retire at 70, they retire on their salary. It be allowance is now for my, but or retire now will replace it. Then the other new one over so the salary effects. Now it becomes too much of a burden on the country. If you say as well much unia hoarding, Nesibia and Yankupon Frel there, then we'll replace you, so that the replacement of Supreme Court judges shouldn't be so frequent as we've seen recently.
Okay.
It's not the best. And those are some of the few things. One, to consolidate the ministries, reduce the number. I don't think we should exceed more than 19 cabinet ministers. And I believe all ministers should be cabinet. And in my view, if we consolidate the ministries better, we can even make it less than 19. Unfortunately, now we have 16 regions, which is something I don't fully support. Voter region, for instance, is a very long region. And to guess it will be of Kasa. I like it because administratively it's so difficult. The same with Western region. Obit was a financial and they are totally different people. Sefini was a phone different from a hunter phone. So if you have two regions, fine. I would have thought that those 12 should be enough. But to move from 10 to 16, I mean, you have to build new offices. And this is expenditure that will not yield you anything. Who could see office my regional administration?
Yeah.
And if I go and all the air conditioner Oma spending more money. That will not create you more money. So it increases the expenditure on governments. So these are some of the views I have expressed. That Sinyamia Madumna Minuanimo MP, these are some of the changes I would like to see a very serious and disciplined police service. Say in say Unam Kwana say police news of driver no kono be a. You know, these are not things we've got to put a stop to it. And the only way you can do so is to send a strong signal to the head of the police service. Say, Minya, then that's why I didn't ever ban. He will make sure that the commanders on the ground are doing the right things. And in Ghana, I mean, there are certain things because we are using transfer as a tool of punishment. I didn't think I see here police for you pay recruitment, no one can. They should do a local recruitment. So them shown. Because Nippon or Bell police or at least or Tekasano or free area, it will be better police communication, more personal relations. He is able to gather intelligence because he's from the community. There should be more community policing. So, in the end, Kobane say, Obi one kind, so why you be being no? You do all course, and now you do all course. So you will not be as effective and efficient as we want our police service to be. So
okay,
these are some dramatic and drastic changes that I want to see discussed as we go forward. Thank you.
Very well said. KAA. You see, I need the short code KAA. Honorable KWABENA AGYEI and Nutrition. When we say Adolfo Bebre Efre, Mama Ebre Kakra, you better try say wrap up BBR on time. Neyama Kwama also will be honorable question. Honorable, what can some of these changes are? I'll say, Yankopoye or Domna say, ye to Abama wa Obabe. Now the question remains in some way na ya tibida. Ubiaba or Kabi, and I may say. We are not doubting you because Ubi any more track record with the woman. But the issue is the two me mawa, then it becomes a whole new story. DNT na Ghana for GDA say in Sema Wokan say Ube cut it down on the ministries, Ube cut it down on our national budget. You bring a sense of nationalism. There's Ube spearheaded that campaign. DNA Yenji Wundi.
Well, I can say I'm not saying this as if me new in politics. I mean, I have been in government before as press secretary to the president, which is the rank of a minister. And I've had the opportunity to do the things that some have done, which I haven't done. They said them kashon. So I went into politics to go and serve. And nobody can point a finger and say in my 6 years with the before administration, we see that because that is not what I was interested in. You understand? In fact, for the first 2 years, I used to drive my own car to work. And I want my life experience to give you a sense of comfort. Say, I mean what I'm saying. More for to talk government lands, property. What is me matobi? And because I detest that behavior. And it didn't start now. Rawlings administration, BBSO redevelopment of Accra. Obi a moment back. Edim Crawford, Ako Jinateshi, Abo Mutioso, Marco Bobo 50,000.
A higher Sankofa radio.
Now, a drew a Momotende, GNTC, any other things in Sawam country. Now, the Mafa Amamo. And governments after that, instead of stopping that behavior, Some have continued. We also redevelopment of Accra, infilling or cantonment. You see, why is it that the choicest and most expensive real estate in Accra, which we used to belong to the government, have now been farmed out to individuals? And these individuals, we are no so-called investment to banker. Yes, it is nice to see all those high-rise buildings, but instead, second, private people know equity. Ghana government equity in him. And by now, all these big buildings, and Ghana government bought 20%, 25%, 30%, 20%. Oh, and that we'll have the money. If you consolidate all that, we will not need the 3 billion that we are going to the IMF for. But somehow, the public servants have colluded with some of the politicians to sell very choicy state lands to themselves and to politically connected people. It's something I did not like, so I did not participate, although I was in government. And my record is different. And to me, I've had the opportunity. I've shown the Ghanaian people this is what I believe in. So I want you to trust me, and I'll be able to deliver what I'm saying. The fact that others haven't been able to deliver, I know that will be the same case. I want you to know that I have been in government before, and I've had the opportunities to do these things. I did not do that. And that is what I stand for. Me, state kakra man fe bianco feel. In fact, the chief of staff friends you are never given a state issue. And say, as part of our working conditions, you are supposed to be given a no more me car back. No, if free abem 2009. Me wa abrochen am say Tony Dr. Tony Edu soldier for be 8. I come free say kofaka. I'm friend my brother say you know you can nkokra na me ha me. Na Satan kwa na me am dimsika akoye ye ho ne ma had invested in it, but I didn't mind. And so they took it away. So up to today, I've never, I mean, these are principles I believe in. And I think, say, public service should mean service to the public. Now, yeah, Ghana from so you can't only say, in Chassis, so being a position of Ghana, the way I'm comfort to go so, any yodium. Na enema enye se oye no and I be encourage you no say onye. So, and we are the same people who encourage him, enablers. But every political leader, you need to surround yourself with strong people. Almost a bit call the wrong direction. They can be able to tell you, look you in the eye, and call you out. Now, if you are surrounded by only yes men, praise singers,
a higher sank for radio.
So there's a minister's name called vetting class. Oh, I am for Tuntuma, Nipa DHC, maybe don't know. Yama wa Juma Edin, I think I will call you a Juma. America, a more bison hearing or Senator Unza. No, you go there alone. It's a serious matter. Yet the Juma Edin, you should focus on the assignment that you have been given. But in Ghana, they make it seem as if say your amount reward circle DBB. Say young one was say NDC for chairman. Some more guys said and say be meeting be your coyer. Only the NDC was a man 1 year contribution. You won't chop. No contribution, no chop. Okay. No contribution, no chop. Not just say there, just about you are coming to chop. So that mentality, we need to reorient ourselves. Yeah, engineers, we call it, we have to recalibrate our values and have strong nationalistic patriotic values. Tell you a new patriotic party. This should be a party of service, of sacrifice, and selflessness. And Ranti be a bar. Within 3-4 years now, will be a sebi. It be quite no high down. Now, it's bad. And we have to get to a point where we have to enforce what I call lifestyle audits. In Ghana, people overnight, how they made their money. It's not acceptable in any part of the world. You've got to undergo lifestyle audits. There should be reasonable explanation for the wealth that you have. So, but because I sorry for crap. Nipani Yeska will be in the background. I want to harvester. Only chair. Universities of crowd. One more crack. I go school. One can never friend as I born a doctor. I can't because there's no missing billionaires. And the other say, oh man, we have been gripped by materialism. And some of us have to sacrifice and advocate and stop that kind of behavior. Because so,
Honorable.
That's what I can say for now.
Yes, young specific. See, the course will be a I just checked. According to Google, it's hovering around 14 cedis to the dollar. Bank of Ghana rate as of it was 13 Ghana cedis, still pretty high. In your view, DNAMA, you see, it's not doing well against the dollar. And at DNA say, DNA will be to me, ayabwa. Then also, I want to add that to the call for the Minister for Finance to step down. Do you agree with Omo Pushi for that agenda?
I think if you have followed me, I was perhaps the first person to say that 3 months ago, especially at the time when he came out openly and said that we're not going to IMF, and that we are a very proud country, we are a resourceful country, we can manage our affairs. And then within a matter of a week, you do a complete turnaround. There's nowhere in the world that if you're a minister and you do an about turn like that, you stay in position. We also saw what happened in Britain recently. Even the Prime Minister had to lose his position, not one, not two. The Chancellor of the Exchequer had to go. You understand? So I came out and said that, look, he should do the president a favor, go to him. Guys, I'm paying with him a dassy. Wabremi, Abuami, I'm a quine semi mesum. Obama baby, I'm a nina and to William Medawasi, Nanka for Ojuma at all. One, yes, sir. Ministers are described as honorable ministers so that you do the honorable thing. So, it's very important, say, when you take such a major, and before then, something serious had happened at the beginning of the year. The issue about e-levy, which was part of the finance minister's economic policy. Ubekachre Ghana for say you accepted e-levy now. We'll be raising about 7 billion and your problems now will be solved. You brought in consultants from outside, paid them in dollars to make those estimates for us. And then within a few months after the implementation of the e-levy, you come and tell us, oh, e-levy no cry no. I feel they all here 1 billion crying. Now, I'm a civil engineer. When you are estimating on projects, you are given a very small window, a confidence interval, maybe plus or minus 3%. You have to fall within. Now, when you go so widely off your estimate, then there's something wrong with you. In any decent society, he would have been kicked out of office after that e-levy thing. He wasn't kicked out. The IMF thing, haven't come out openly yourself and told Ghanaians that you don't believe in them, you are not going there. Once the decision was taken by the president that we are going to IMF, he should have been relieved of his position. So in fact, I came out openly, I think about 2-3 months ago. I don't know whether you've seen the video. I will send it to you. It's on YouTube. I had an interview with Kesben, and I said, where we are heading towards, we are in dangerous territory. Because people are now beginning to lose confidence in the managers of our economy. Because when he said he was going to clean up the banking sector, there were some who felt that no, that's not the way to go. Jobs are going to be lost. The toxic assets are not a banks viable. I think it wasn't even exceeding 9 to 10 billion. Now, months later, you come and tell us that after collapsing these banks, you have used 25 billion. We have to then begin to question your judgment. Say, your problem worth 8-9 billion. Who the 25 in the cost of it? Bringing untold hardship to the Ghanaian economy, putting pressure on the city, because I'm sure these monies were all borrowed, monies. And his propensity to go into the European market and go, interest rates, they are very, very low. 2%, 3% nearly. You go to the bond market and borrow at 8-9%, sometimes 11% in dollars. I mean, you are virtually driving us into the grave. And not only him. I mean, other cabinet colleagues are almost I also want to blame them that they will sit down and watch the over the last 3-4 years. take us down a bond spree amounting to over 11 billion. That's 11 billion and so on, 3 billion a bill day. So 11 billion and so on, 3 billion a bill day. And it's all about the structure of the economy. You know, in any economy, the government should be prepared to intervene when times are difficult. Yes, we all believe in the free market, but even in America, during the housing crisis, was it Lehman Brothers and other major institutions go down? People were punished. Some people spent in jail. Some died in jail. They were punished. But the government intervened with quantitative easing, finding the money to support these people to survive. So now we cleared all these jobs. About 8 banks were collapsed, and with the attendant loss of employment opportunity to several thousand Ghanaians. And then you come and tell us that you've used 25 billion to do that. That, for me, I think that heads should have rolled then, including those at the central bank, because there's a banking supervision division. So banks buy also here liquidity support. Sika no cry is now taxpayers sika. Yeah, time they come out for support. No must check. And these people are walking around the streets of Accra. There is no political will to prosecute them and recover the money for the poor Ghanaian taxpayer who is being saddled.
Oh, okay. See a Lucy connection with Honorable KWABENA Japan. Okay, I think so. I signed you here back.
Yeah.
But we say I don't for baby French maybe a phone lines because of time.
Yo, into economy national there. I think first and foremost we should regulate it. The government should intervene, especially in the petroleum sector. First, I asked the question publicly that the finance ministry and the central bank should punish those in the banking supervision division who haven't supervised the licensed forest bureaus. There's nowhere in the USIA, Midbedro America, Midru Boston, I'm saying euros, Kakrebi, I'm saying, baby, I will continue with passport. You boost out every detail. So therefore, they have digital records of all the transactions and why you need the money. Ghana, I say, in Professor $100. Ghana, $80. You need $1. Into $100, you have to explain why you need $1. Me too, me by America. I go to my bank. Me too, me try ticket. Me yes, me di Metro Hotel. Me say to be a mama me $6,000. Na e be a the amount. Or who do you see the equivalent for near the amount? Now the amount. That transaction should be reported to the central bank. And the core bank is saying that and then $1 million. And these people are licensed forest bureaus. Where are the transactions? What is the record of the transactions? But that demand has become speculative. Within this year alone, it has moved. Beginning of the year, it was 6 cedis to $1.
Yeah.
And Tiama affected petroleum because this is not a quarter petrol backroom. Mattis cried almost fix one at 18 because he almost runtino. Or anti Petra is saying no. They have given us the X-bomb price based on 18 cedis to $1. Why? That is where governments can intervene. Every government has an idea the strength of its currency. And we as Ghanaians know what is the strength, what is our preferred strength of our currency to the dollar? Especially 1-to-1 after the rebasing and redenomination. And the everyone said we should have a fair idea where we want to. Maybe we can decide, look, it shouldn't cross 5. Nansea, euro, and pound, ASA platform. The British government intervened and people lost their jobs. Central Chancellor of Exchequer, they had to leave their positions. So now, Ujai Bibiasa. Now, Okase, Yesika, ya any as a country. Now they are commercial banks and so auction. Auction at the end, would have more lower price. No, it been more fixed. Now they are forest bureau for and there's a cartel. Oh, Nancy no makochi nipa bemi and sana. It's a joke. We have to be serious about some of these things. Action has to be taken. People have to be sanctioned and punished for what has happened, because as a result of the weakening of the city, those of us, the nationalistic Ghanaians, are majority in cities. No, we've lost the same about 50% of our money value. Because say a person baby boy bridges is here. A dear 100 cities dollars and then bit matter. And then you need more. So these are serious matters that as a nation, for instance, if you are able to take the oil companies out of the open market, now government decided, say, okay, in times past, you will be a friend import licenses. The fact that import licenses, me, I believe in the import license. In fact, if you can run it openly and honestly and have competent, dedicated Ghanaians running the import license regime at the Ministry of Finance, it will save us. Because if we decided today that Ghana government, our feeling of what our strength of our city should be, 1 to 5. We'll give it to you at 1 to 5. Yeah, no, I calculation say we use 18. In Tiama, I didn't buy a ding over the
radio.
Use to 5. That will reduce, so we can cause a reduction in the fuel prices by just adjusting the forex. And that the only one condition is that the Ghana government should have enough dollars to be able to satisfy the demand of at least the BDCs. And those are very important. If we are able to intervene with the BDCs now, and we are able to use the city to push down the price at the export, then we can negotiate with GPRTU to reduce the fares. Then the food prices will be reduced because ferrying food from the farm gate to Accra and other places will be cheaper. And transport affects everything. It affects inflation, and inflation will be reduced. So at least I'm advising the government that they should, and I've said this not once, not twice, they should intervene with the demand from the BDCs, especially, and maybe even the pharmaceuticals. Because I draw some winding, I draw some they say, Sabi, oh my word, diabetes, hypertension, I don't know, I don't know why a problem. So almost so you can take maybe 2 critical sectors, petroleum and then pharmaceuticals, and say more demand send them here. The finance minister has never, or the finance ministry have never been forthcoming. So how much of the demand do they need for the oil industry, for the petroleum industry? So, and this one our person go crack twice for China there. I know they work up $1. I don't know there. But I can tell you, say, if they hear, say Ghana government is able to give BDCs no sika, and the BI will be at the bemo there. mean I'm catching so one more $2 they are question pass. See, because a lot of them are $2 just because some people say are safe. Ghanaians don't need the dollars, but when you say at the beginning of the year, 6 cities, they say Drew said okay 13 or say 14. And you will scan no sanko cities, no san they are so they're creating an artificial demand because there's no confidence in the managers of the economy. And that's why I said that the only thing that is left for the president to do to stop the decline, to stem the slide of the city, is to fire the managers of the economy. And once you do that, bring in somebody new with a fresh set of ideas, it will engender confidence. In the economic management, confidence is something you can quantify. Confidence. And it's quite clear. For 2 months down the line, 86 MPs have come out openly. Where the minority, majority. Emma, last week, majority leader, when you're 86 the whole parliament, parliamentary side, I say, says a finance minister. And now comes a press conference back, addressed by a UFE. And what is the president waiting for? The president is not an independent candidate. The president is a product of the party. It is a party for no kasa. Onti. Semikwa na me kasa na mfuse bi amena aja. Maso odi na make kebibi kekekra. Na mo entia. Sata ma me kasa asem so interview no. The city was less than 8 cities. 8 cities. And look at where we are. And we are now heading to the end of the year. And the least you can do, I mean, removing him is the least of the problem, or the least difficult task for the president. So that then we can begin to align things, regulate. MTN Ghana, Ghana from the space phone say a rebo today. One more more than $50,000 in the back room. Sika Ghana. because we say in a phone, in a data, Matis and next week comes almost have to data. I didn't move to data so inflation channel. And our data so yeah, the petrol area and I say maintain. Oh, these are things that the Ministry of Communications should be on the side of Ghanaians. Almost see that the Ghana need to place a data board. I'm telling you. And so the ministries should be working for the welfare of the Ghanaian. They should not be looking out for the interests of these so-called investors. Now, Ombenyeska, we heard that on see one kind headquarters. Now, Ombenyeska or Ghana has Ombenyeska buy. Yeah, here for ya, Niaji, increasing for sick or beer crafons to say, Niaji, Kakaka, who told data as it's an answer. A trip go, Omutimi, the Abiquate me the mouth by force. Unsako can be as you don't know all these things. That consumer protection, that is the responsibility of government through the Ministry of Communications. And I think they've done a poor job of safeguarding the interest of our country and our customers. And these are things that we need to do to safeguard the economy. Companies like that, massive profits. We should not allow them to expatriate their profits wholesale without any control. Yes, we can allow them, but we stagger it, we stage it, we tell them, say, look, these are difficult times. Sikanu benyan kuma. Yeah, my own fanko. Yeah, influence. But fatu banko who here be you the ABB na yama kakra. Sana say no. We have to put in some regulations. So now, and for Lebanese, if one Turkish for be good kuma no more di emo any sugar. Addition me do be kuma. Ghanaian rice is the best quality rice with the lowest glycemic index. I know very healthier. Say rice no Marcos almost seven. For the chicken fat content in Europeans no pen on my bed damp oil. So it be great the 5-6 years and no more back home. When we are collapsing our own poultry farm industry. So these are things that government can intervene, and I feel strongly about some of these things. And we should stop the sloganeering, talking about slogans, and do the right thing. The right thing to save the economy, to save the people of Ghana. And that's why I've been appealing to the president to listen to the voices of reason. And we are talking from the bottom of our heart. We want him to have a good legacy. And there are 2 years left. And in politics, 1 week is a long time. If you take some very far-reaching, drastic actions in the finance sector, removing the managers of our economy and, some proactive actions, like I'm saying, making sure that we can satisfy the BDCs and looking at the strength of our city to the dollar, we decided what we think we are comfortable with. I'm sure, say, NPP businessmen, and
yo, it was any KAA and a train commoner and commoner the year party, so a very man of good intelligence, I just say. And no church I say I'm enjoying the conversation. And Chabema Wabama, who say I don't be every, but I want to get as much as possible out of him. So I promise you 11:45, maybe a phone lines in Namwa Mobile, but as many a few messages, Wefi or buy, I'll say now people have lost hope and trust in NPP. Our economy and even party members are not recognized. So what will Mr. KWABENA AGYEPONG have for the people of Ghana? And what will he bring? What will he do to bring hope to the party again? With the Mecca to Nabum, we saw the Frank Asian. Okay, Sidney the Edika Aka. Okay. Now or say does he like the current state of the NPP from the grassroots level to the national level? If not, what does he think he needs to do to make the base strong again? John Abu, combine these two questions. So now,
yeah.
the last question.
First and foremost, I'll talk about the party. I think we have to go to the party. That's why this upcoming campaign is very important. As some way, because catch a party for very key, especially at the grassroots. Really, I mean, him say NPP, a does saying, and to say, yeah, grassroots, no, say it me cast and public show near more say the essence of politics. When persons say Ghana, so be I said, obey free politics, no, already. Wrong. Yeah, I'm ranting and could do him much and sacrifice. Now, me a young man, me a Jumo highways. Busumi be an iska free me bottom. I make a contribution to the party through the young executive forum near the command in Boating or party headquarters. No, they are Buane Juma Oye. Until we are MPP near. This is a time to even be stronger. Until you want to make us say, well, no, you have an opportunity to create a new dawn. And I believe I represent that new dawn, and you have an opportunity to have a nipa omunina dream to say me kai and sabum near to me move your mind. The fact that we are disappointed and near my uncle Yen say you throw your hands in the air. Because whatever happens, we have to elect a new leader. Whatever happens, there will be an election in 2024. And so if you are a dedicated party person like I am, you've got to work hard. And Kobani say, "Who from where? We are delegates. Because the meaning of delegate, and they say, the party people have delegated their authority to you. Tini for delegates no. Unko for wow. And say, "Esa utie wamo eba monim no." And semo omo kan ebema Ghana aye krabehwe ebedin kranshe abremo. That is the bedrock of party politics. Sacrifice, the spirit of voluntarism. And on the bedrock of politics. Ma Kobani say, "Oh yeah, executive. Oh, expect to say you triauka. There be yana sada. Ya sani a party no no. Entina ye kui. Enye ni papa kudio. On the 2 CPP because it was all formulated around one personality, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. However great he was, also free hono. Ahiasi. It has survived these 65 years of politics in our country because it was based on principle. And said, and say, I say, a sicko fancy praising Genia, and ahaye. And can you make a costume? Yamin Kwan as a mechanism. Me can say, Crown Party Funbo, and you're from a cobra, a interview, we sana. I say, we criticize a public economy there. Men fan share them because it affects everybody. Me na me feel me car. Before we drive, na first near 700, and I call 820, and I call 9. A 1,760 the last time I feel it. And it affects everybody. So, and in any case, me workers have no more office. So me to one place. Because I'm not earning any more from my consultancy. And Tibusume is car. I have to increase the transport allowance because my who's near my consul. So you collapse your company. So these are real things that are happening in our country. So it is important, say, party for no who say. So omo pesa omo dachi ye na Ghana ye omo so sakra omo. And Kobani said the emetiti say see during the regional elections. Nipa ba ko we see a mame 1,000, we see a mame 5,000. You see one more this can bro, omo konya say can o. Na say we yes now jiska, omo man is can nipa nya tumia. He's got to then pan to the interest of the financiers. I don't have any big financiers. One more about $20, $50, 50 cities. Madam for Professor B or Los Angeles. Also, I sent them $300. They say me danasi. Hear me video. Go me or hear YouTuber. Now, Mama, I'm so good. And yes, you can cry. The fact that you accept the fact, say, Papa, as I'm okay, I touch my coma. To accept the candidature and then be the advocate, say we need a new dawn, we need a new Ghanaian, a new politician. So, because let me tell you, a lot of the things, public servants don't have you. Be a politicians, they be a kuguansu. And so you name the akoso. Procurement agency, they may be a kukosu, someone in a moon. Depending for to Mr. Tiap company, no more award contracts to themselves. And I make us say, we should Auditor General's report. A lot of the dream Nikitas, if organizations, politicians, I'm not holding brief for the politicians because they are ultimately responsible. They are the ones that Ghanaian people have invested authority and they are voting them. So they have to be up and doing and do the right thing. But nurse near war hospital. Now we will be a prayer. Now we drew her nonsense over Jennifer. No, Dr. Bonko, Mona Nipan is young or Monkoya Cardman, no Udinko. Our attitude toward ourselves, Nina, and yet this has to change. Now, me cry the day, my reho. any more amu free kumha. And no dear met me I say and a man way by what me diaspora for positions be pray or Ghana. Top positions. Well, as a Mugusum said, what have they been able to transfer the values of this American system back to Ghana? That's what they should be doing. That is what they should be doing. So, instead hard worker, a work room, dedication, will be who say, or do traffic light, a zebra crossing, or no abijna, that we have to cultivate all these. It will not happen overnight. Yes, we accept, but there has to be a start. And that start has to come from the head. And that is why I was worried with some of the president's responses and saying, or few saying the ministers, I mean, the evidence does not support that statement.
Okay.
So, and as a leader, as a football coach, you should be demanding more all the time. Even if the people are doing well, whilst encouraging them, demand results from them. You have to demand results. Intermediate results, me hear me. Now, say Joy FM. One more samples of water from rivers in the country. No, the basic TV. So, well, it will not, be a back say all the so-called fight, Galamsey fight. It hasn't yielded the results because me, the expected outcome, and they hear me. Into who catch them say, Messi school. Let's say, school now was in the dynasty. So we should be looking at performance-based targets for our ministers and everybody in the government system, key performance indicators, and the expected outcomes, and we should be results-oriented.
Okay.
Results-oriented. That's what we want to do. And that's what I am passionate about. To me, I'm expressing my views, a few of the ideas, and I want the rest who also want to compete to come out and tell us what they want to do. And unfortunately, some of them are in government. So they should be giving action right now. So be the president and Sana. What's the situation?
Awesome.
There were 2 years to go. And so those, especially in government who are ministers, they should come and tell us what they are doing now to turn things around.
Okay.
So be the president and Sana. Media, unfortunately, I'm not there. So I'm telling you what I had the opportunity to Cote d'Ivoire. Ouattara, because of this economic crunch, he's cut his ministers from 41 to 30. It may not be quantifiably so figure quantum there, and yet but I sense a moral signal, a strong signal, or tighten the belt. The same thing that this year, you say, you call IMF, you see mano, you were deficit kasi. Now, nipa bi akoto cars mono ama minister say omuntem Land Cruisers mono. Cars are mutim 2016, 2017, 2018 is strong enough. Why? Who undertook that procurement? If I were the president, I would sack the person. So, because you shouldn't do that. Because you are sending a bad signal to the Ghanaian people, say, but you are feeding fat. If you want Ghanaians to accept your austerity measures and to buy into what you're doing, then you don't do such things. You don't. This is not the time. Now saying COP27, huge delegation of about 300 plus. I mean, these are not normal times. I mean, we are going to the World Cup. I've seen a technical team of 23. I mean, how many? You have 11 players on the field. You are telling me, look, in my time, I came to America as a member of the Black Satellites Management Committee, or Charles chairman. I bought my own ticket. I stayed in my own hotel. I'm a Timadan or Riverside, Atlanta, and I'm a stadium. We never put any burden on the government treasury. Though BBC at the Bowman. We call Barcelona Olympics. I bought my own ticket. I paid for my own hotel. Although I was a member of the Black Meteors management team. Many Grusanum. That time near winning bronze. As the Casarinum.
Yeah.
That Lamte, Alex Nyako,
Six.
That's 92. Barcelona. I was there. I was a member of the Black Satellites Management Committee. And then management committees, Omoji allowances to say players. Now, who's a player and on Mobi? Now, or no bread, now so allowance. They will have no respect for you, and then they will not be committed to do it. Until Yamasika Edimo, man, Mundo, Yam Pekwanbi, near who says, Canocra, Sabia.
Yo, for any honorable KAA and education common. Sabe do betumi abam na America ka dey anim no 12 o'clock oba pa beji na konya no de oba pa futi sema bre. Oba na wasem no wama na eti akakra. But honorable before I be connect before we be signing off now na me the last question will be about your infrastructure highways, especially Accra to Kumasi, your plans, but ubetumi answer when you are signing off. Amami. Sisi abekwa homane so ubetumi aba sisi ya no wa join here 703-565-2261 703-565-2261 Ufrefi outside America now the year +1 ashe anymore and a WhatsApp so yeah 571-343-8320 571-343-8320 to quickly call Canada Niama Kofi Buzi Akwaba from Toronto. Na question or woman honorable KAA KWABENA AGYEI Japan or the Amai Kofi Uncle.
KWABENA also
KAA.
Yeah. Okay. Time what's some more kind in Matawate? 1992 ne o political year of in Matawate. Now the question me busa want to say past 2 years, one kasa ufia wotiano. O land tax and wotiano. Ufi se be say. And my next question, person busa na say. You live in a about ready buy economy. A big bump for Swama Ghana coming now. Because what's set up now can't get a back also. Government don't save money in their pocket. Government save money to go to the public. Citizen, because once you live in transfer no over car bank, the government over 12 years no that is economy or setting up. Name sikano and money pocket, but some person over to your feed here, you go to the bank. That is good. It will be higher. May come timua that thing is a very solution they buy no is good. Now who can be this government and economy na ankasa no. So president here di. She amount $5 billion. Public economy in Kosovo. Are you still going to put money for the cash and carry now? Now, say, what 5 solutions you are betting with your money fair, a bit more 10 government and the economy in 5 years and not in 2 years. Because bank system now work on it's nothing to do with the Nana Akufo government because it's government institutions now work on and also I didn't a bank teller it's in you loan. Not government and it's one institution to one moment in show. Not say that you have no president now. It's on the other call, but institution is there because bank teller to me to fear me and the loan. Oh, what they are. That is something there for institutions no more Ghana no because economy Ghana economy Nankana no. 92 ni kofata maba. It's changed completely because Ghanaians need a job. And kwamba na abe faswa. And nipa beti manye juma woman. It's say the cash and carry because we are Ghana skafona. Past 2 years, we sika almost cash almost free outside with the US dollars now. Who calculate here? About $2 billion.
Yo,
that is a killing the government because we didn't can't say, oh, Kotonya or China, but now you're teaming for your sika and provide BB. It is a war by your president. A dear pan, I bet my year in 2 years. I'm a Ghana economy no.
Yo, Kofi, me da se pa honorable obey answer questions ni na.
Thank you very much, Minia. In fact, they say what can land tax asem. Ubusame. Me say nyame na me set taxes. Me dey identify for the baby na metua. And I think it's pretty low. Me who cry me I mean it's quite clear that me share me dan si wa. Na we proper evaluation of it. This is not what I should be paying. I should be paying at least 5,000 cedis a year. At least 5,000 cedis a year. But assembly banner say, the invoice bros between 900 and 700. I said, I cannot do anything about it. But all I'm trying to say, important thing in our Wakapa, Ghana, in the 100 houses. One, apart from that, there's property tax, there's ground rent. Property tax are not being paid, and then even rental tax. What's rent? Would you rent now? As a tax. And it's something I cannot understand why we can't do that. For instance, I was totally against this new addressing system. Be a buyer. Addressing system, a bow addresser, near bow code or be any baby a war. Ghana addressing system be a buy. In a GD 13 who say wall Abonio, say wall East Legon, say wall Su. No. All over the world, who call London near N17 so and I'm talking now. So, and I say well, would go N14. So all these things we are capable of doing it well, and there are Ghanaians who can work it out and help us do it well. And it is all the political drive. And the property rate there, we are under collecting it because it's not efficient. We have not decentralized properly so that the assemblies will use. For instance, Ayawaso is Legon. And so assembly in this car. How? I mean that, and so we are, and then the buck stops with the government. Institutions, no. Institutions, no one appointed the heads. It is the president who appoints the heads of the institutions. If that institution is not working, you've got to fire the head of the institution. Because if you are put in charge of an institution, Ghana, all our state institutions are making losses. Meanwhile, you appoint you be the first thing say, increasing the burden, the debt burden on the institution. Go and turn around the fortunes of the company to say, Domain America. Now, turning around the fortunes, New Year, I am a bonus. Into who corners a case, you want a CEO car. That also use when men can say CEO car into me. And I can use myself as an example. When I became the executive director of the Ghana Institution of Engineering in 2018, I was entitled to a car. I said to them, when I look at the books, I can't remember so and say Kotoka, and I'm saying we are running a red, we are running overdraft, me and Kotoka. Me, I want my car. Until I'll come to work with my car. If I turn around the institution, let's say I'm running soon as a car, but in any case, I don't think I need a car from Roman Ridge to East Legon, very short. And I refused. But there are many people who go into public offices. The first thing is they increase the debt burden on that organization because as you told from out, too many government perks we've got to cut. I mean things like petrol coupons, which is being grossly abused in Ghana. It should be cut. Why? Ministers are paid well enough. Let them pay the petrol. Petrol to a pump one cost now. And also who said this is what other Ghanaians are going through. Until some of the perks should be reduced because we are not in normal time. We are in a war situation until we have to put ourselves on a war footing. Until you can say the American about e-levy. Me man can say me pay e-levy. I never said that. I never said that. What I'm saying is that we are estimator. Well, if you are a minister, generate your figures, have your proper data, and estimate it properly before you take a decision. But if you have an estimate, you are wide off by 90% wide off mark, then you have to accept the responsibility that you got your workings wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Then you talk about, I don't know why he's talking about cash and carry because I have. Look, right now, insurance, health insurance in our country, I think we have to look at it again. The cost of delivering medical services is increased. In Tiwukas will be 30 cedis. You know it's not enough. Maybe it has to be increased to 50. And the actual is no idea we can work it down, sit down, look at the amount of people making contributions. And then perhaps we have to make it mandatory. Say SOBR should be a part of because the foundation of insurance is a lot contribute to it, and we expect only a few to use it at any particular time. And so that you can banish cash insurance, cash and carry, the cash you continue, MY. But the hospitals are also complaining, and even the involvement of the private sector, which is critical. So sometimes the fraud in it be an amount of clients I work in a month, 10. No, I report to 50. All these things have to be properly audited. And so is the management and the creation of resilient institutions are strong and properly regulated. Now you talked about the major problem in my view facing Ghana is employment. You see, and then it means that we have to get the data right. How many kids are getting out of SHS who are not going to the tertiary system? And how can we improve their skill set? and make them employable, and which sectors of the economy can absorb them. No one president will have the solutions because these are technical matters. But the work of a president is you are supposed to be a manager. And even political parties, you are supposed to put it. They say in Ghana, what we do, we don't think enough. As political parties, come politics. In the meantime, I've put together a small team of 6 economists, and I've tasked them, give me 4 priorities that, God willing, I become the president. These are my 4 priorities. On top of my head, number 1 is unemployment. I've looked at certain sectors. I think that the tourism sector has one of the biggest potentials. We are not giving it that attention. A bit me as a mine. Because so we see a tourism facility, hospitality. You employ various grades of people: cleaners, technicians, barmen, cooks, chambermaids. In one facility. Factories, but then with modernization, a lot of things are very computerized production lines. And in fact, you have 50. So, but the amount of human beings are here producing those. And so one thing I've also discussed and talked about, I'm passionate about, is family planning. Ghana says, family planning was in view. Yes, I can't was it. One more in this kind of question, a water door. So it becomes a burden on society. And these are the people walking the streets begging for money at the traffic lights nearly. And we have a social welfare system, Ministry of Social Welfare, which does not work. They don't even pretend to work. I don't know whether they exist.
I'm running to say also mean to me for calls. I think I have about 8 or 9 calls.
We'll just take a few and then we can
go through to Pachoba. No, I will be some question now. Or better than in know the response now. And he's very good at it. As a press secretary, as a media person, they wouldn't say the real few questions. So don't be bothered. Ubi say we are now a next person. We got to go through so that next program be to me. Abaso. To quickly make Canada area, make Denmark, then about US and Pachonti. Me who say a beef into me for cause be a fact we no mind we. Canada, our last 4 near 4084. Pachodini, which part of Canada, Kasafi?
Pacho friend Kofi Mensa. It's very free Toronto.
Toronto, okay.
Now, my question, this is a very interesting discussion. The who say, I did make an honorable so or the president. I kept one say, Ghana unemployment can be very technical side, no. And to me, no, not free education. Not was a honor idea. I can come more. If we say, we shall be no said walk out on a carpentry, no big beside by semi pay to my. Ubi no walk, but yeah, you genuine mama. I'm say social side of education outdoors. And you be real. Okay, sociology. I'm not saying that. So sociology net that now not something by so pay to my. But you focus more on the technical side. KTI, you not money up to at par with international standard. And now Ghana we still use T-square drawing board. And can you get use all this AutoCAD and all this software near dinner? At par with international standard. A lot of employment. Mr. Ross Obey President, and be here focus more on that.
You'll be hearing more from Honorable on this network. Inti, when your time and be some question more. Yanko, Denmark, Mr. Boateng from Denmark.
My Honorable Akwaba. You need a full nature from this. You're working in a busy. You didn't say, okay. Now, no matter what could be, the commitment to Ghana and then the commitment to NPP party, no, ain't changing. Now, maximum maybe someone say, Yamebuanoba, she say, or man or pano. Biggest problem is facing as a Ghanaian mentality. Yagino. A Kwabena, a bit in your fossil. I change from foreign goods, from foreign attitude, na about consuming of local, entirely shame, the big beer, at the abba, na yet in your contribution towards Ghana, na yet in your abba or mano, yet in your pursue or mano, aquanimu.
Thank you so much, Mr. Boateng from Denmark. You be called Georgia. Is it Abena?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Bibi Aboko.
Yeah.
Pacho.
Bisa ne samo kind na no kwesi ku yes ba wo ye ku na me no 35 years nti me ko so nyina minim na edenti na wrong MPP anytime be MPP for the back abemu bia no ensakra kakra bagana na edenti and na time watch your constitution no SSA one work in a parliament ho na wo ye ne SSA wo ye na Ghana for young here well ye ho to ye ebu akumenti wo manko enti say no mu kan me design say so me do okọ parliament wa obetumi atena so aka say constitution na ye NDC for chiro no en favor NDC no kwa ni favor o yana ya ka nyina de dede hu nkekene nti o mu okwa den e no betumi aya fa constitution nana do obi blame nana do say nana do e buy word o enya de obetumi aye because woman ya to ho time bra na yenko ye no se obuafu nti mu anko se man say ni amomu ye akoma mo kakra bi mu ye what affect the whole Ghana nti no no ka no ni decide say so no kwa e ye no betumi aye afa constitution no ansana yen Ghana ko ye hu atoye
me da se pa ma me da se chia Georgia Foina. I'll say I think we are the diaspora must rally around KWABENA. He's very intelligent and has a vision for Ghana. Kwame Asiedu also from Canada. And he be joining ba New York. Min Claire Kakrana is my time I wrap here. But you said
Sankofa Radio.
Yeah, King Jafari New York.
Yeah, DJ Ras, who been at it. Now, the 1 year account fee say bam. DJ Ras.
Sankofa Radio.
Right. DJ Ras, I'm a chair, your Fabrege, I'm a chair, honorable.
This
year, the more the back here, more bubble fruit here, and some more can. Maybe me knew what you mean. But honorable, you may person make can say politician for more food yet. And politician, dear, but power will prefer. The man for motu abama no ye jimijimi honorable ye lady down and come a person the map and na ku fa man and say and a honorable o unya wi ni say pe the person o yini ye be say uko no nkoko na ode wo o yire na o man wo busu nyina akoko soe e no nkoko se asama wo kan se wo bana wa anya no nkoko bosom en sha ase no wuni because no nkoko ya dia only the challenge. Hello, Patami Waso.
Yeah, Otio.
No Coco Busuma idea. One in the court challenge. Not all cast over ya idea in a 1 year. Busum have Boko, extra say. I dear now did in Pakana, we did Ghana for no. Look at all Ben 1 it will walk on 1 year. Okun was if we na. It's one abu. Me to me, dear. So now be the MPP anymore. And MPP need your Baba radio, LPG can see with Sudiano. Kinja follows Anna Macatano. So, but not 1 year, no coco or noon, because more Puyate, our politician for Namugana, and what he did. Abu Sena, honorable the Sato Subamadamano. And soon I walk Ghana, and swimming in our saying, open time in Swana Bay, open time a Ghana for Marginal, ever caught in Sua Ghana, so about Wagana. Since one year, your man got in it. There's an Akufado, in Swana Agena, the Asian Swana Ahun. It's an Agena, ISR, and
I will check Elfasia, Edasi, Parkin Jafaru from New York. Mr. Mamu, taking note of comments and to me. But I say more still honorable member time or person clear lines like a crowd, then you have to.
But as I and you know, I think that when we take 4 questions, my answer in free.
Okay.
So I think so. Until my answer meaning Gafaru. No go for no can say because we was tried. Me person minyano unya regime say yes, meaning says a lot of people people feel a sense of despondency and disappointment because Opa na omwo we muno akobanisan, but they should have hope say. And no stress a besa. And no stress a besa. Galamsey asema yeke. A firm action that has to be taken. Me personally, I've discussed that. This is not the first time I'm talking about it, and I'm just saying we were a lot of so called YouTube now. You search for KWABENA Japan, a lot of my videos no again. Then you get to know what I stand for. And yet now may say and it's not about me. My passion is about the transformation of the country. No presidency na same kind hear me. They said okay. An orientation of the Ghanaian. And that's why I talk about a new dawn, a new dimension, and a new direction. Galamsey, yes, government should supervise it and stop what they are doing. But say Ghana for the don't want to Chinese for them. I didn't know the officer with the Upesicentino. Uboko say you're not by it, I say your environment so that you make money and the rest of us will suffer. It is a mindset thing. And we have state institutions like the Minerals Commission, the Forestry Commission, who have been charged with the responsibility to regulate the practice. And so if there's something happening and it's not working, some people should be punished for that. And again, there are a lot of things that we can do as leaders by sending the right signals. And I understand your frustration, but I want to assure you, I'm not talking like this because I've been in government before. I've had the opportunity to do some of these things. I did not do it. And I will impose a strong penalty regime. You're so more. And I will impose order and discipline. That has been my lifestyle. And those who know me know they believe that. That's I'm not someone who is a believer in those now we talk about Mami Penny or Casa Frames Toronto and Georgia. Now or can be say participating in the constitution and be a one as American. Yes, here in Parliament. We didn't participate in the parliamentary election. And don't just say here in the constitution. Constitution here Troy and Sana here best start elections. The constitution was formulated by the PNDC, signed by Jerry Rawlings before the election of 1992. The constitution, at that time, we boycotted Parliament to send a strong signal to especially the Western world and the community of countries that were supporting our electoral process. The course on the MP. That's why we wrote the stolen verdict. And then after 2 years, we said we are prepared to do business with the government. And we started with IPAC, Inter-Party Advisory Committee, and improve electoral process. That time, your friend said, thumbprint ID card near the two about. It drew baby 2,000 cries here in your photo ID. Obeda Samoa Attorney General, or the Cocoa Company. And in Yamadi, ABS Uganda. Into Mestre. It's not true, say, before young continue the intimacy constitution. And the Mesrewa and yes, and then you talk about constitutional amendments, about Article 71, for instance. There are things in it I think we should change. Because me and Tiasia does say, we do a parliament. We wait 4 years. We signed by parliament bill. Yes, your man S. Gracia. It's wrong. S. Gracia should be paid to those who are going permanently. The way we now will call the air. It is said, "Why worry about a butcher, a friend, and lemon?" I said, "Be upe jo be to a certain level." Now we join and intimate house and money hangers are a beckers a kaka. And it will be by some mind on whether as minister or MP. Nessa or coffee and is going permanently. A man of parachute, what I call parachute payment, be kakra. And no, that's what has to happen. But to have some members of parliament, including our own majority leader, the likes of the speaker, who have been in parliament 6 times, every 4 years collecting a unit, the say morally it is wrong and it's something that we will have to change. And a lot of the PECs, government PECs, they say, "Any sky, so I say, I'm read Daniel, now what Daniel will be." And even if this was what the government appointees near Article 71 holders, we've got to review some of it in the view of the financial difficulties that we are in right now. It cannot be said we can go on business as usual whilst we tell the Ghanaian population say they should undergo austerity measures. As one who say yes,
Comfort Radio.
no one who say there was watching from Denmark. I think I check a country and he talks about
Radio.
Attitude, Ghanaian mentality, and that's why I talk about a new dawn. When I say a new dawn, a new direction, a new dimension, exactly what I mean, our orientation. Say Obeko office be. Now, what the document about 2 new Ghana ni no say within 2 hours you bet me ya de na mawo. No say cobra in 3 weeks time. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of money. Again, yen share temahabo. Wo be ye adwuma wo abrochira say, what sweating? And you modern, what talk out there could do. Meanwhile, duty regime na I am on him the Ukutia. Into Uka, Quabranit was a customs officer. Or who any man, I will dear, Kasa Utia say, but Umam see, may you see. Let's see Kasa call, not a question about. Those are things we should stop. The way we can stop that is to simplify it. Car, a car. You can have maybe 1-2 categories, no more. A saloon car, okay. Finance Ministry could look at it and say, averagely, we will put a charge of 20,000 on it or 10,000 on it, and there. But a SUV, and now beyond a certain, you bet more to 40,000, and I say 30,000. Ufra bro say oba, what prepare almost say na ukutia. If you call a bit online and sign what be drawn, not be you adi. Now say, remember the sign any pabbe do kumo, na bia, obe na $1 na now we say, now physical planet or the betria no nyentia. Or copepusia na time aso. Yes, easy. Yes, easy, and yes, I got on the cheap. Eddie ama obi. Na so beton the cheap, the family pan or the buy and I. So those are some of the things that we should do. I think it is immoral to seize people's cars after sweating and then don't give them the first right of refusal. Until either say ubetono at the figure na ontimintia. Na say upeso reduce the and reduce more no first. So those are the kinds of things I'm saying. Boating or Denmark, no about mentality. And yeah, no one mechanics as some doctors as some say we a doctor who kolebu or department. We many you know. We say why call private clinic now diverting for money are there. It happens in a lot of things.
Okay.
Our attitude to ourselves, city a better do how we think about our country. Our understanding of public service, the triple S, service, sacrifice, selflessness. That's my political doctrine. And I want that to be a driving factor in whatever we do as a country, quality assurance, quality control, value for money, all those things. And the mass patriotism, that's how all these great countries like America and Europe were built. And Japan and China, they are determined to do something for their country, not only for yourself. Until the first one was Kofi Mensah Toronto, unemployment. I said no about say, and until me say the decision to change polytechnics to technical universities. Man, just say that. We call polytechnics go be so or a communication or marketing. Polytechnic there, technical subjects. So that we can build a technical and also there. Who said the current government is trying to divert a lot of resources into TVET education, but we should do it even more. So until we are producing humanities for no dodo, and also education for them. Until if we want to build factories, these factories will be maintained by these technicians. Until we need to throw in more technical hands. Now, and you know, Chris was saying, you was the T square. Yeah, the young time you use T square. They say the AutoCAD now, it be Ghana. Oh, a lot of for Niemano for technical people is there. It's just that we need to devote more resources. In fact, the German government is supporting us a lot. When I was at the Institution of Engineering, we have a lot of programs to train the artisans. Ghana, artisan or tiles, no free Togo, no free Cote d'Ivoire. Oh, we share professional welders. I work oil and gas industry. Also welders, and Tisaka welding. But which might improve or more well, there's no more card there. No, actually, we're trying to build a Ghana Welding Institute because you're confirmed for the Philippines. We are 200, no more Ghana. And these are jobs that Ghanaians could have taken. So
exactly.
it is the emphasis that we need to place on technical training, and that I'm a technical person. In fact, I say it is so because Ghana cry. I'm saying lawyers, humanities for the ideas. So my engineers who made this to be
exactly. Yo,
yeah, any of the results, remember.
Honorable K in Ebusia, the next batch, of course. We say still are more afraid, but unfortunately, into me for my boy, my other colleague time, but things that we will go through. My uncle, a economic area, a year, anti-rose, New York Bishop, Dr. Charles K. Aka. Na netuya hine wa Texas. Then the last batch will end us. Konongo Kaya, one of the communication team members, DC area. Konongo, Honorable K. Ewosu. Then I'll be catch him. Yeah, Konongo Timinka. Yeah, Pacho Konongo we are anti-rose we are then near Bishop. Why Konongo? Oh, but Obi Dede will be a cheap, Obi me a mutiny Yamami. Dede will be a cheaper. Yeah, Tipacho, I Konongo Yanko. Yeah, Mitonka, yeah.
Oh, okay. But that's it. My nature, honorable, na Yamana Kwaba, so na, I'm saying, so far, what can be, na, I think, Ukita plans for Ghana, Papa. Yeni pase na ombedi enim awo Ghana na mo ni kasa yemuno baby anaka me expect say ko be stressing more awo E11 no the E11 so kasa aban efeli wo efeli ahona na ayemi ayi kakra cause yan kasa ni say US ha there are a lot of friends saying policies are the whole US government want to make transit na feli on transit na feli na ban say E11 so a Ubeka say NDC Esha Sia Nihubi kita last speakers our market they should not patronize. Recently, according to a tape will be a leaky here, Harina Drisu, minority leader, Ebe Katre Ghana for Yamiete say, Oma Bob who more than pa say almost to be suppressing E11. Emma, verify a friend is a revenue. I'm saying, honorable, no, penny that for Abamu, on Nimsana NDC, the same NDC, no, and that money, National Health Insurance. I saw them, they were going around the villages telling people, say, on my penny that for a crumb for, also on Yaricrana, Janabi Chase Cattle. It's in conform the brain, no more resisting National Health Insurance. And no more use so the same thing as who some year you levy. It's not me as a sister, a hospital, even though a son of Ocasa planning in here, you know. So again, I ended before year, I said Ghana for by 11, and also play major part.
Question will be son
Pacho, no, I can't tolerate Pacho, Ubia Benya Tamakasa. I say, me clear lines, money making a point, Pacho. Why? We have, yeah.
I do about the Pacho, so we say, no, 24 now, I'm 24.
Yeah, Konongo, my fix it that into the young queen. Yeah.
We were casting and looking for that green to say so. The Pacho, any panel, as a second, casting right there. We are not going to entertain that on the radio. And see, Master Mano, Tsunami has to say, stressing more. Oh, and the mining now, NDC for no, and also play a major part. Anything that you sanka, your friend is saying, you see, and two, first of all, Mammy introduced me a friend of Konongo, we are member of communication team, NPP USA. They also be, dollar not aquasrono. A woman say, Yanka domestic, you may be a play mat, but US, they have raised interest rates. They say, at that way, you to US, who to talk interest rates that was over 7%. And Jama invested almost all over the world. How they about US for higher interest rates. Anything I'm actually know higher drink a crowd we are for $dollar no because of the movie about US. In Ghana, Subano, Suban honorable, me person by that stadium. Ye TV be kakrabi na ye de afem. Ye nya advantage kakra nti yeso so no ye hu say dollar na cost for no. Me yanka say create artificial one ka ho. Nti me be better ya attitude no. E pato be the president attitude no. Then na o ya for Ghana for attitude no. Because that's it's also artificial. The attitude is very because you understand the attitude. The government president be no. Any idea be ko be bia. You understand the attitude.
Yo.
It's not kakra be one no.
Me da se pa, me da se.
Yo. DJ minister bet me about yeah time we quick.
Me we from which why? Me we me from.
Because also why ready or standby.
Matthew me from. Okay.
Now my number.
Yo.
Okay.
Bye. Quickly, Mami call New York. Auntie Rose, New York. We are near Bishop Dr. Charles K. Akaso. But you'll be a becasa, me who know that you causing Dawson, me phobia. Hello, Bacho, Mommy. Okay, I mean, see a Lucy connection there. Auntie Rose. Okay, MC Lucy now. Mamin call me stay right there in New York. Bishop Dr. Charles K. Aka.
Mechia
Obia Jos.
Me you honorable. You Nana KAA. Honorable for no. Umwa discouraging. Mechia what's a ma waka no Bible say obo abantufo amuni bi no otumi be di twiati. What's my waka me Judy? That's say MPP for moti assessment say when the papa bi mo fra MPP for mu. A wo nye partisan. If Obama ayaya nana KAA no. Ofri obi a woye nana adubu ahe the tradition mo. O kan can say bebre can say this an question kura. If you nyina age tumu ya to abama no. Mo kan ade suban nipa kuta. MPP ni NDC muna 92 the so called ade democracy. Ade ani enya no wo. Ana obi beka se waya ade papa. See say ye nana ke aba. Utie ne sam ka okuta adwen foforo ana na adubo ahi kuta bie odwini suku hu kwa menkro abreso mo de bia ne enwo mo geography history for Ghanaian schools na ya anto aba ma na ade adubo ahi na me ye president because nipa obeba be ye president na obedi mo no mo mfa no ise mo ade mo agenda ne se we ni ye peno we be we here ni we ya hwe nana ke we here bibi anka ebusa question yeah we ada nkwa regime amwaye am se mi ko history mu a karaje be boye yeah faka ho say agriculture and a show mine say agriculture ho no mo ate se nkruma ye no go brigade state farms Young Farmers League, na me so basa. Ebuwa mamranti ye nyin ketesi enya adwuma. Afa ukura wadwuma na ekuta wo no. Industry no. Ebetimi amahwa. Ebiti say Kumasi magazine. Obi a won ko school that timi hyehyɛ car. Na say abam yenu amaba nyina no a conflict of interest. Make catch them. If you are no, I did my woman and people in NDC for no. We have become non-entities. It's a conflict of interest, you know. Go back to can you put 80? Your parliament. I want MPP afan. So there have been a work on it. Now next year, majority in the quatrasso. Now say 80 of MPP. Every parliament is any air can it you know back one. And for majority, I don't know what would you. As well for that now. Who's your India to a draw? It's a media. sɛ mopa obi a wɔfiri obi a wabɛboa Ghana pɛn na mopo no na na du boahene na mopo saa onipa yi a Ghana yɛbɛkɔ nka me deɛ koraa nka wobɛtumi a ɔnwɛ kɛ na AGYEPONG ɔno pɛmpɛn no aka namesake wɔn form party na yɛnyɛ union government sɛ kwasi buroni democracy no amoa yɛ ntimi nyɛ yɛsɛ ana kwasi buroni yɛ democracy yɛte America wo de bɛ compare na America na ayɛ di na fancy ya no ho na ka kyerɛ wo ɛna ɔyɛ de ma fam Ghana yɛ to adeɛ mu a
Sankofa Radio
to asesa ntimi de mi wura ke ka kɔfo bu wa de papa na
Sankofa Radio
we are NDC ni na say wotie saa asɛm na bɛyɛ to abama ke na yenye ni papa mama wonya ade
Bedasi pa
Ghana kunya no so fama yɛ
Bedasi
yɛmpɛ ade party politics bi abio amwa yɛ MPP ni NDC mo amwa yɛ get away allow the young men to follow and build Ghana.
Bedasi Bishop Dr. Charles K. Akane Teninka from New York. Auntie Rose, why are you ready now? Why are you ready?
Yeah, my ready.
I'm so line
Mr. AGYEPONG. I'm kind of hope. The American said, "I best friend baby." Now, as I see an Okasa Kuranam Kase, or Kasacha America Brofo, America for Okasacha, and I mean to Okasacha and Ghana for the best friend. Or on the campaign, I almost see me also my. And you know, yet your British and Tibrofo. Mina Medican. A honey yammy pa, or what China, millions of Okata and Kata or. And of what German, your uncle can German Kata or your best friend baby. Or the Yansa pan or the Casa, Nimum broke on the door's room. And I am asking in an Titoman.
Yo,
what's it to say? Would you answer for Nimum Casa and broke on the doors?
Utio pa. Utio, medasi, mommy, utio pa, that's a pa. And young call, say Ohio, Kofi Yesu, Ohio.
You don't have a
sorry, but you'll be a becasa, I mean, him say be a Ginas watch it, but ye better wrap up here, Madame was in no more butcher.
Medasi pa, Michia, honorable. If I come a question, I move this and say, Ocean in Ghana. In northern region, northern sector, so no. If you are now Ghana, my translator will say we spend so much money on electricity, energy. It's a general bit my yabua. Now ye solar, we know, if you are able to go on no. You bet me abuana, etimi ama northern region hall. Oma concentrating more on solar energy no. Now uba ye kind of coastal areas there. See waves here able to go kwano. Uba America hana wonam Indiana na uko Chicago. Ube who windmills honoma. Even America here cry stronger, you know. They have windmills a supply energy. It's a coastal areas na see waves ni botu kwano. Dia no bet my ya fa ho a.
Sankofa Radio.
You can say windmills honoma so a supply energy. Let's cut it down our cost and energy because if we are pa neto fum yenu Adia which you imagine, Semetia Butcher, and Yamaduma. No, me say, Gonya, Bidrumi, Bangana, Jamba, Matoka, to be a Jamba, Babatram. Matoka,
Sankofa Radio.
Yes, never Jimmy, $10,000, $15,000. No. Again, obey your phone. Saving. Obey me, fortune, taxi be a Google, so I said you were winning. Obey me, ye face, Unama, ye were brought you out, brave, would you be Bagana? And obey my eye, Katana. Etiniabua. Yet also be yet the educational curriculum in Yamayiano. You know, bet my young found because a mebana mean costume cosiano. We are Britiano. And you know, the mission, you be a practical. It's the educational system. After 2 decades, you know. And you know, bet my year, bet me, you may be a free move. Now, my Etiniabua practical, no more Etiniabua, my own man at Nakoso. Kakambit my coming back.
Yo, Medasi, Kofi Yesu. Honorable, I hope so. You are jotting down some of the questions. Okay. Pacho, you was so last digit near 3464. But your first, okay,
I from Kwame.
Kwame, Pachoga Sefi.
Yeah. I'm a free Illinois.
Okay. Yo. Yenin Komai.
Yeah. We Kwabna AGYEPONG Yedase Sene Waba. Yedase. So asema me pesa meka kakra. Me pewasem pa. Me unse we principal any hadi. Misremo. Mudi abro kakra. Mam faye kasa anche yadi. Inti ama pride kakra ifri asenkola. We grew up watching you. If you're winning an painful yina, brofusem na dosu. Brofusem na dosu. And a Western this, Western that. Munina, majunina, it's too Eurocentric. There are no African-based solutions to our problems. Yeah, kasa, yen mu ye tete wa Ghana, ba yebetina ha chekaka. Ba yen timi kan ye kasa crash French. Developed country be wo wiase bia. Obia wa de ne ho a wenye ne sike bia. Ne kasa no ka woni ko. Usian will be bia. Nipakoni so proud so be kan ko kasa. More leaders are more Ghana, Africa. Brofo na mudi tu mo sa media brofo na meka. Meke brofo nti mo fa leadership o mai. Ya elected leader, yes you are brofo nti ono no be leader. Inti mu nyina samu eno ne Kufuor de be president no kwadna wo so wo wo nyansafo adwene wo tirim no so ba me srew mun chai sabian mo mayenya proud of who we are. African centered solutions eno ne be maye kiji yanki yi dada if we see so nyenne
Ahaye sank for radio.
If na moyen en da Mon yusu ya hu nyemfa ye nyansa nyentina because sebe
Sankopo radio.
Ekasa cheme nana uti obetimi akase kwamna dabi enkoye dabi enye because nso betimi akide na adwen ma mo ba na when and the mo be kaka zanenya obi anti ase the president be speaker 95% of Ghanaians in ase. Only 5% of Mako schools are Papa near in a TSA. My relegating the large population of baby because my brother facility. Mr. Remo, why? Mama, proud of ourselves. What can treat there and now what can you cast out saying? I win a twin, a motivating, a may you and me pacho, why?
Yo,
yes, Remo, Nama support too. We answer Dawson. Means so bit me lead the country no. I didn't want to no. I know. My it's started to tear watch it. So why? Kwabna?
That's it.
What I need you.
You
know, going to be the next president of Ghana, no? My young Ghana based solutions. Eurocentric in the Dawson. And in Western Europe, this and that, you know.
Okay.
So why?
Yo, yeah, that's it. Kwame from Illinois.
DJ, I think we've taken about 6 questions. I mean, trying to answer with.
Marty.
And I want to be able to say, first and foremost, to be a best say Ghana, no, they are about 300 languages. Country. I can afford those, but until so me interviews me can't kakra nam de brofo afra, because we have other tribes who don't understand Twi. And almost they feel very offended. The Uba now Kasach on in Kwana Oka. I just said, almost we should celebrate our Ghanaianness. Yeah, Ghana for no crack. And so men crying cannot kakre metimidi din commodity, but mean to me find your interview say. And so can for bisu US bisu Ghana and Omutia de Sebinya can phone. Intia mestre minuan on some conobro for kakra. In fact, most of the time, the American will be an American tree kakra, so that we don't lose anything. So, and I also, as a dream said, there are other tribes are almost so Sebio, Omontichi, Omni was. So, and the mestre, Minuel Free Illinois, Me a full me a Ghanaian part. I'm a very detribalized Ghanaian. I would say Kasanu be also unfortunately because of colonialism. The bro for us easier for us. So because I'm a detribalized Ghanaian, ni tree cano, Yamian adding. And then any many na will explain any isn't here. We will do our best. Then to your baby, but as a Musumo Kaise, Omo Omunyina tree for no Munyina can for. You won't bomb until we have to make sure say me can be sure I have to explain to them. I'm almost say asema making Hana Meko. And again, no say foreigners so for bomb and we are trying to reach out to everybody. Until you will be a until Mesre. Yes, be a me fabro to me. Now, brofo de brofo I so and the United Nations or back or can the language throughout near interpreting. So, but if you are lucky now, East Africa, now no Swahili, now to me far from Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, near there, any one language. But Nigeria, Igbo for Yoruba for Hausa for we went is unfortunate situation we find ourselves in Africa. Sanity. The one ka English, next or French. Enti we the mesra o kakra nye se bia bro for sem na yemede and I say yeah o can be say African centered solutions me the minim say Ghana ne Africa ye kan ye ho no kre na say ye do oman no na enu say be so mo oman na emu enko ye say adidie bi na ye be die free oman no ma most of our problems will be solved. Now ye cocoa farmers woman na ahwe oman no for the last 100 years. Ukwe Gracia, someone here opa. And so cocoa is 100 billion business. Yes, sorry, near time cocoa beans now raw. Yeah, can want someone so you set a target that. By now we should have set a target. Say, okay, in 2 years, 3 years, we should 50% of cocoa na you produce. You be yam, and I say you be processing. That processing factories in Ghana for betting ACB. I machine there. Argentina, Abrofun Kwan, they be invested. Why do we think that only foreigners be invested? As I ban so encourage Ghana for some years for Ghana Ninyesika, Ebeka Ghana.
Radio.
And also, or the produce jobs because what was every and now how baby a cocoa. No, it's the cocoa processing factory. I'm for basic schools or Ubenya hospital or Nina or attendant economic activity and jobs are created. And I think we should focus. Name mom said Baba say year after year there be a nipa be to play near cultural land and say yeah kobobosi. Edia kutukuku. Cocoa 100 years the entimia manage cocoa no and say buska and yeah was scared to a cuckoo. Cocoa no say turn see the moon. Your farmers no and then 10 years your quabruche. Kobo Bosnia in dollars. Na obiaji legal fees, arrangement fees, insurance. Yet kwabrani no wenye skano de ko. Na eka abedo eso. Ye ba na asan besi skano. Ye de tokoko nu ya. Na ye say asan come back into dollar and they akutua with interest. I mean this kind of arrangement is not sustainable. And there are many issues that we feel say as leaders and as government as you can want them. You know about renewable energy, maybe environmental engineering. Into my master's, I'm here, Surrey in Guildford, UK. It was on environment. So I'm passionate about green issues. Into especially solar, that we have no excuse because we call German and democracy. How many days of sunshine do they have in a year? And so they use solar effectively. The problem was in the beginning, not solar equipment, not a development. And now Germany and Austria, especially, and even Spain. Are cheaper, is better. They've built a new system. Who bet me a generator who electricity so when you see now into the national grid. And also the idea ECG for some strange reason because ammonia efficient. What the meters now? See, these are policies that, as president and as a bank, we should force the utility company to implement so that every individual, especially homes, it may use solar energy. Because Ghana, we have at least 200 days of sunshine out of the 365, more than that, I think. So, with windmills, no, we've done a lot of studies. It's not very productive. We have tried wave energy, a downside, and I know of a guy who is trying to do that. They put these wave energy converters under the sea in some of the areas. Waves near strong ultimate generating energy, and also but I think say the lowest hanging fruit, solar energy. And then a coffin pan into the initial investment, and you're very high. First, not the board, will be but then with new solar panels, more efficient solar panels, smaller batteries, everything has improved. And to solar, we have to go into it big time. Right now, only about 2% of our energy is produced from solar. I think so we have a target of about 10% for the next 20 years. That's 2030. And look at 8 years, yes. Which I don't know whether I'll be able to achieve it. Now, Bui Dam for almost a big solar farm. VRF also are doing another big solar farm. But we can do some more, especially in the north. And of course, technical education, I'm a technical person. I think that we need more technicians, middle-level technical people who will maintain our factories and so that we improve our maintenance culture. What can be about import taxes and charges? We feel say it's too complicated as it stands now. In fact, we share the amount of taxes and the amount of signatures. We've got to simplify it. Say phone now they buy. Say iPhone. Say Huawei. Say Nokia. Yeah, standardizing no. So that when we say what they buy, me to 10 cities, and I'll be 20 cities. No moment Kobana say what they ban who nim the obey. In teaching say nipa na ukotune or customs on na say bibi bo. Inti kakra me so meet me I can. I think there was a bishop assembly there. I mean, a lot of people are beginning to feel that way, but it's unfortunate. Mekai say, some time ago, I said, look, these are two parties are going to be around for a long time. Now, Ghana now say it was built like a two-party state, meaning now flowing out of UGCC, a CPP and a UP. CPP now I'm say NDC for no Afan IC basically because that's how come CPP.
I sank for radio.
And I also UP a Progress Party, Popular Front Party na ASABP NPP say. They are still good Ghanaians who are prepared to dedicate themselves to serve our country. Because you see, Kemi is the best for us. We can't say we can't legislate union government. Union government when a better no. And so after how many years, party political arrangement is the next best thing that we have. To the SECRETARY-NPP say to hold our leaders accountable, both within the parties. Now, Nkobana say be a hero worshiper. Into your Kobana say, ye too for crowds you won't to say they're not Bishop Okan. Now leaders knew who say, Oma said the other say form for no canon. Of course, you're supposed to lead, but you should always have your ear on the ground. Now, who name the pulse of the country, and they almost urging a home. Now, also so a juma. Inti minia, me do say, Wabama Basso, who would you do? Me did this again of what do na best roman Gidio money, bet my sumo minor manayi. Now, Uncle Banner say, Ubi or Babe, me my yebida. Yes, me yebida. I've been in government before and I served diligently. Inti me person me use my life experience as a message of hope and encouragement to younger generation. I mean, some more yeah, no more frustrated because I have to so efficient. Inti we are so Ghana we can't afford even to say that. I said yes, a coin be a fast way being here. Now, when get involved. You see, when good men refuse to be part of the process, then the country will be ruled by evil men. I said, it's not enough to be angry. it's not enough to be despondent. Say, wabamu abu de abi enyi free okwa nya say abamu bu. Afa na ese ani bere more. Say ene yes ye pe obi a efu say ogidi onu a obetimi abo. Ono so ba ye be suso no mu atentam no say onye the right thing for the people of Ghana. Nti mesre say ye nyina ye kan sa. Say the twi asem na mo kai. Twi ne kan no ye ko sku e kire brofo tie na odi twi ya de enye easy. Ye be yire ho near can, but as yes, you can say, you will say, Becrobo 4, you won't come 4, you will win free voter, anyway, free north. Omunina, so you Ghana 4 more. Of course, and I tell you, no will be at it. But me and cannot say that on the field say, you can't on my share. Yes, you cannot, and it dear so, and a book, I come on, who said, it's a beer, Cassano, I mean, how's an amintiminka, and I had a woman, a mintiminka. I mean, so almost here. And so yes, you come on who say be a you can't Ghanaians. They move in country for another I can phone to cancer. 11 as no minua konongo kaya kan. Man can say 11 on you. Any way we can digitize the collection of revenue to extend, say, bet me at Trema or Pierre Trebiano, they make say, we a minister. Na who estimate there, especially when work of for consultants from Bruce, yet you on car. That's a estimate because so wide off the market. Mia, Kameka said, with the Mr. Opening, there was some age money with the Major Beto. Man, Cassa 11 no FLE, intimacy. Assembly say, Cassa, ya to booty the American, and one Ginasso uncle can't be a man. Man, Cassa. I believe in say economy as a formalizing because obi your friends Brecher, your friends Mason, and as a steel bender, and how much 150 cedis a day. I didn't know to be into me can say. I advise some of my friends in the finance ministry. Me from catch on say. Instead, some obeji 11 no yeah this care command for yeah. Me must see me discuss move. Yeah, me metia me taxes that na me say. Me say busumi be nipa me send home ska edosu papa. Enti ada na wo charge me more. Nipa na me discuss command no. Ono na receive ska. Enti ono na as income. Ono na say tua na income tax. Enti kese o mo sesa de no ma nya wo a wo tua no na ese agi wo. Na mo wo a wo receive no. So that yeah tua no yeah demoralize e betua. Because we beat a class now, they also will soon be able to send the 300 a common. Would they wire or budget so best send the 300? Or no, I want 300. They say, even 2%, it is 1 city and 2 cities crack. And what best some side because you're the brand. Name me, I made the command, who catch themselves was Jimmy Biaka. Would you think babies? I didn't cry me and I'm the command to Majai. So I even sent that text message to one of the members of the economic management team. Me, yes, sir. But then I'm not there. Oh, anything that we can do to formalize the economy is very important. Forex exchange here will come with Ghana pen house Gina airport anymore. Na nipa biti te kwan ho. Na ukwa na what's the sense? How? It's possible. It should be stopped, and it's right behind the customs office. They are aware. Police stations soon high. Now, what kind of society are we creating when we allow such impudence? So, Nipano ya the illegals on area. It has to stop. Then in the Bank of Ghana. Yes, you know what time they are coming commercial banks or Mufanya. Your friend is saying auction. Yeah, this is a Sika Ukraine. You bet me as 1 to 5. The here says obedience can as a buying a demand because a demand no and a problem no. So, until they are here to say drugs and petrol no there. If you say a buyer said yes, as I'm intervening. Now I'm used to not to fix our dollar rates. And by so doing, if we are able to intervene with the transportation, and on the Bema prices come from transport, come from there will be money in people's pocket because they are not going to spend all their salary on unnecessary. Trying 8 cities, 5 cities. Just say, a man can now go into transportation. And also, the only way you can reduce it is to make sure the city is regulated by government. To me, I have suggested to them. It may fly against normal economic principles, but you see, difficult situations require difficult solutions, extraordinary solutions. And if you say, this is not the bulk distribution companies that cover oil ban. As I isolate you or free the normal forex environment. Now, I dealing with them directly with import licenses. They move almost share import licenses in the year and coins a champion time. They coin. Now, Quabrani, Beji 1 million say the Koto with the man and never say the Koto and Koto no assign the cocauli. No more the opposite tendencies or here it is possible. Agriculture, we used to have state farms. We used to have Ghana Food Distribution Corporation. Ghana and Kwaya, who said, BBA, buying DB and Enyigi. Why the casa? A lot of state utilities are America are buying control. Europe, no, 90 South African solution. We can do so when we are more honest with ourselves, when we are more nationalistic. Yeah, the idea show on side. Share cocoa. Obian say cocoa marketing board, Baba Beton. So as soon as a timid guarantee farm price for me do broke, or me do cashew, or me do millet, or me do cotton. Like I said last year, just before the election, man Penny set up the tree crop development authority. But you see, I keep saying as an engineer, setting it up is good, but that is not the end in itself. It's the results that Baba PN hear me. And to be after 1-2 years now, the one in charge, let's say and say, since I'm Penny setting up tree crop development, at the end has it improved the amount of tree crops? What is the arrangement? We used to have a grains and legumes board. So, and all these agriculture and no, we have ready human resource.
Yo.
Into agriculture development bank. One must run traders instead of helping farmers. They are from agricultural development bank. That should be the core business.
Sankofa Radio.
Nigeria, Japan will ensure that is their core business.
So, I someone numpe na 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock there say me sorry. I can't part me and some pacho 1 minute. Na me fa closing remarks in Emma Honorable KAA. Pacho 6028. We are not my call Mr. Crazy Texas. Then I know to Henneso Texas. I believe that should clear the lines now. May the closing remarks about Pacho 6028. Last form, but your first look as a thing. Hello? Okay, but your call our last digit 6028. Okay, so when you're ready there, my main call Texas now, I believe said the net you are in by first. The net you are in. We are now my call Mr. Crazy.
As you hear as a block. Now, mention. Mention of making a panel near Jamba Kumaso. The Biamaba yes, so I'm a kind of a yabakin. Now, near a yame, a yika can say. That was it, or bad or bail, a yadi papa. It was male. And no more, I work a chrome, 2 years, someone, a quite a fast sister. And then I tongue to cut your tongue band to you will be that. The Africa country. You will be that. The tongue, can't say. So we are talking about the $100. And now, Nalado, Okushia, for the below, for because and win here. For below in Ghana, black market. I never found a bush here, woman or more. But, sir, I did not give my answer here, and then one answer was to me last information. Who push it out of bank? Upon idea, men idea of what came out and said. What a party room? I didn't need to deal with him now. What did you come? What party? Now, this will be a president. I need a chairman. No more what came in a idea that I mean, me put here. This will be a minister, a man, land to select out of petrol. Will be a MP, next year, I say, Agracia. Who are a deputy? What can was a agenda? What a party, no? Woman in the shirt. And this is MP, so you know what? The share crowd of the MP young men. And this is the only people you. And people who have one other say, you know, saying, what do you come one party?
I'm on your side.
Yo, Matibedasi Obe and sound. And I'm in call Mr. Kofia Crazy or Texas.
Yeah, hello, maybe I have
Meton Kappa.
Oh, Mr. Japon, thank you very much. I love your courage, given the circumstances of your father's death and so forth and so forth. Thank you. May God bless you. My family said, anybody being black man, do you think they're capable of managing their own affairs? Because this banking issue, confirm first they are working free. Now also got climate change. Look where your forestry aye. When you galamsey, when you yen suai. Okay, McCarthy opposite. Where opposite McCarthy? What's your mobility cement factory or McCarthy opposite to close to Pambros. So you see sometimes you ask yourself, black people, before in general, whether we are capable of managing our affairs. Of course, you can say Botswana have done well. Magufuli of Tanzania did well for people. But look at Ghana. Corruption. And it seems to be no consequence for wrongdoing. And that's Auditor General from 2016 to 2020, 50 billion mismanagement, misappropriation. Nobody is held accountable.
This is SECRETARY Radio.
Sometimes I wonder you're going to call IMF for 3 billion. You said net and then Sabaka last watch. What this bond market? I call you 11 billion. What I call it internal generator for a scalper non car. Well, we are winning the EU. Now, Ghana, forensic auditing from Mahama to Nanadua. We all will cry for Ghana. Corruption across Ghana, maybe I so bad. I don't know whether they cope in Ghana, given our economic situation at this moment. Minister Bakope, whole Ghana hosting, whole nation. Parliamentarian, look at what they are doing.
Yo.
And not at the end or Obekonani Bobo Prava. And get Nanado by a game will be glad. May God bless you. Thank you very much.
May God bless you too, Mr. Kofia Crazy from Texas. May call last round again. Call us last 4 602.
So I think say let's try and conclude it now because my battery don't run it down.
Yeah, I count one person per person coming more just 30 seconds. Then I'll give you the few minutes to do the closing remarks. Right. Thanks so much. Pacho 6028. Pacho was one. Okay, on your radio, I'm meaning free so. KWABENA from New York. Young pastor, on my last caller. Na mema, yeah, honorable mommy last remarks.
DJ Ras.
Yes, sir. Bibi Aboko. Pachu wait there quickly na mema honorable mommy last remarks.
Yeah, the opening can na yate. Na so sunu Ghana no. Yehia obia oyenam na oyedin. Na obe sheki Ghana. Etine na me prefer ya Henikote. We prefer Henikote party ka Henikote MD president. Because Ghana no ya small thing. Yen say market women akoto body e duro $5 5 cedis. Yen ba beji 50 cedis. E won kan as yen say. Say o mama kuafo buafu. Kuafo no ehu wonum. Ni nyina mu no o kan ya say adentina boy NDC for din NDC for dem mo yirem na yes ade no they one another bar so no ka so be say another ban hu ano matra ho ahwe hahai ana ban so asay ampa.
Okay,
and then baby on be ko bia no ne yehu wonum baby on be ko bia ni nyina so NDC for ana yes ade no na dia pa na mo ya fa ho me de ka me ko bia ka han ko te amna na han ko te en sheki Ghana for pa.
Okay. Also, yo,
yes.
Me da say also wadwen cha de aba no. Ebusia me da say bebre na mentumi anfa. Honorable ye din komo bebre for about almost 2 hours now. There na be catch Ghana for 8 years, especially Ghanaians in the diaspora. Benya GDA to back your campaign and your yeah, so.
Well, and the American is not really about my campaign and about my presidency. I've offered myself, but I am profound in the transformation of our country. And only hear me. How to transform the country? See a besisa yesu near buying and near and only hear me. Number two, me per se, especially those who are talking about the fact that they should know, say, when there are shortcomings and there are problems, that is when we need all of us to work hard to resolve these problems. And we can't afford say yabamobu. Eno dear, Mr. We are Ghana ni now we roots for Ghana. Even though you are living outside the country, you should be thinking about what you can do. Dear Kakana bit me dear Buama or Mino Assisa. And I want them to realize that Ghana is a country that is worth dying for. Your mind, I see 2 years who see a dear who go for see a best sum of mine, and son it may be Joe Mina and Abe Cabaret, City, America near which memoir, movie Abetra. It did not happen by chance. It happened after years of struggle, hard work, and dedication of all the citizens with solid leadership. And yes, so as the yes, I didn't be. And as the who said, who changer, we have to be part of the change that we desire. And now, my Bemobu, it will be MPP in Timiyawe and this in Timiyawe. That those are the vehicles we have now. To the opportunity to make a significant impact on those vehicles so that it will produce the kind of leadership that is inspirational, a bit page or minor, so that we can reawaken the conscience of Ghanaians. So, no woman who said, Sepesman Kuminya, say, Woko, a Jumamu, would the obedidi were Jumamu, Hiano, as a way be a page a Jumano, a coso. Sana was waiting at Nedman. Even those the promoters of businesses and then Kofopi Jumano almost true because who the Ghana and Ecotranwa. In the Soberboama Jumano a grown or no more bay say and a beer or baby from a Jumano says, who you be you a dear for Sedgman. And Tibinianum Ghana for baby Amobiano. Ghana is a country that is worth dying for. We should not lose hope. And I hope you will listen to my message of hope and my vision for a new dawn, a new direction, and a new dimension. Yes, yes, Sakra Kasenchie, Edidiatem, yes, say Nipa, Niema, Indian, as ye did to change. Now, many will be can say, I don't know, minimum, not men from Wamaba. There's a difference between party and government. 2020, Mampeni Frame, Mimbuan, on the call around the country, Semunia, all the 275 constituencies. Kobuani campaign. And no cry I had to go to Kumasi because said the honor me free no more Kasai. Or more eyes on my bemo number twaba, Munshemi, Namusun twaba. And one bet told me a winning. Yeah, I don't decide who is part of the government. That is the decision of the president. And I'm assuming to me caught by force that the America. And some of it, no. Although I'm a member of the national executive of the party, and I've at times had reason to also pour out some of my views. They know my views. And then, Ofremia, Metunuf, Mr. Mecano Crasho, Masumaka said, President be and when young Kofua, they can look you out in the eye and really advise you properly. You say, you do, yes, sir, yes, I need. And what? And also, yeah, they are Abagana, high. We tend to fall over ourselves to try and hero worship our leaders. In fact, a punto Emma or man bien. And no cry as ye ditched Mampeni, no cry as ye ditched or minor, and someone near foot to pa as ye dema, and only here. Intermediate, Sa Futui, Mediama, I'm available. We have 2 years more. I believe if the president is prepared to take drastic action and across his government to be able to reignite the confidence that the Ghanaians have in the NPP and in politics as a whole, it is In politics, 1 week is a long time. Timid demonstration, I may bomb pay to be tear. Yeah, do party no do or mine no yasum party de want to say asemwa ye can. And indeed, ye dear, and or mine ye dear Muntine ye can. So that Dachibino people can point to his legacy, say Papa Obai, say no me. Name and yes, it's out of spite. Na BBO. In TBD, I'm very confident that going forward, there's a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. It's a great country that is respected across the world. Said the Free Conference or Anaheim. Ebo me didn't say me free Ghana representing the West African engineers. Ubia a country that has been able to manage transitions successfully for the last 30 years. And Tokwensi has said BBA cost of fine. Mom say you are him right now. But we can come out of it if we work together and we are all positive. Let's say to nipa for so mbetia say to no futupa say eniema be eno ne hia na omai sometimes yeah na ye hero worship to wa be ka na sebi ye do tankrumam na ye ken sem wa emfata e de fa timi de kakra me kan say ye nya gidie wo yemu. We should be more nationalistic, we should love our country, and we should look at the betimi aye de abo omai no wa oba bia enti man yeah say ye 2 pa we so Ghana they say there be that is the only country that we have, and I am a dedicated patriot of our country, and I'm prepared to put my life down for this country. And this discussion, which is a difficult one, has to be had at the national level, and more people should participate in that discussion. And no never born minor Emma Sebi, which na small bit on Kwabema. Oh, who said I buy a cake no kuchucha and then a party for 20. You get voted into office to be the chief executive, to be the commander-in-chief of the whole of Ghana. NDCC, Obiaka Hobi. That's all we nice. You say, of course, when your party is in power, there are certain advantages that but that should not be the focus of governments. The focus of governments is the welfare of all Ghanaians, especially the underprivileged. What many be see a June, see a baby pija almost baby papa. Timidi Yamidi Edawasi. Yo, yes. Namasri Yaminshira will be a OTB and Yaminshira will be a Baku. Damasi Bebre.
Amen. We shall honorable KAA and I attending Kano. Medawasi so nyadaji. It's here. About 2 o'clock, a preka sebetinasi Eddie Wunyami Sumpuni Abre Sabri de Beko Ghana na yakuti nunsia kasi ebo. Efrem na ya odako. Bomodia say uwebusia for takradi name potemwa omontie ye FM station and also ye Sankofa 98.9 from Takradi through Elmina to Cape Coast. Which me Sankofa Radio 98.9. Mo ebusia for Takradi area honing nano. We are on air. Boy Juma. Intimeda wasi. Sabri de Beko Ghana ne akofa nunsia kasi about 2 o'clock. Preke sebet nasi de unyami sumponi abre. Medasi.
Mantemu offices biano ya fie community biano ya pesa sa e high sronkone no